iqtisodiyotini rivojlantirish va o'zlari 2019-yilda tashrif buyurganlarida alohida e'tibor qaratgan Axsikent arxeologik tarixiy kompleksi asosida Namanganni turizm drayveri orqali dunyoga tanitish vazifasi qo'yilganida, shu sababli ruxsat bersalaring tadbirimizni ochib berish uchun Namangan viloyati hokimi, senatorimiz ga so'z bersak, marhamat Abdurazzoq Shavkat Shokirjonovich tadbirimizni rasmiy ochib bersalar, keyin bemalol ekspertlarimiz bilan davom ettiramiz. Marhamat.
Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli xalqaro konferensiya ishtirokchilari, hurmatli mehmonlar. Sizlarni Namanganda 62-chi an'anaviy gullar festivali doirasida o'tkazilayotgan ushbu anjumanda ko'rib turganimizdan xursandmiz.
Assalomu alaykum. Very good morning, dear international experts and the local experts. We are very happy to welcome you in Namangan in a conference in a frame of the flower festival.
Muhtaram prezidentimiz tomonidan turizmni rivojlantirish uchun berilayotgan alohida e'tibor, imtiyoz va preferensiya bu sohani so'nggi 5 yil ichida tubdan yangi darajaga olib chiqdi desak mubolag'a bo'lmaydi.
We are very happy to announce that this initiative, this event, is based on the instruction and advice by our president, esteemed President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, that will support tourism to Namangan.
Namanganda o'tayotgan gullar festivali 6 kunda 1,5 milliondan ortiq mehmonlarni o'ziga jalb etdi. Namangan viloyati nafaqat gullari, balki Yangiqo'rg'on, Chortoq, Kosonsoydagi so'lim tabiati, Chodak, Nanay, G'ova kabi gavjum turistik maskanlar bilan mashhur.
We are very happy to announce that and very proud that in the very short period of 6 days, Flowers Festival is visited by 1.5 million visitors, and it contributed to the promotion of Yangiqo'rg'on, Chortoq, as well as the nature parts of the Chodak, Nanay and G'ova tourism destinations.
Bugun o'z ishini boshlayotgan xalqaro konferensiya Farg'ona vodiysida turizmni yangi bosqichga olib chiqish uchun kreativ g'oyalar va maqbul yechimlarni beradi.
Today's conference is aimed to boost tourism in Farg'ona Valley, starting from Namangan, but we are aiming to the Farg'ona Valley through the creative ideas from various fields.
Axsikent turizm markazini barpo etishga bag'ishlangan anjuman mavzusi viloyatimiz uchun nihoyatda dolzarb va muhim ahamiyatga ega. Biz xorijiy sayyohlar uchun hudud jozibadorligini orttiradigan boy tarix, madaniy meros va noyob tabiiy resurslarga egamiz. Undan samarali foydalanish mintaqada sayyohlik xizmatlarini bir necha barobarga ko'paytiradi.
And the aim of the conference, tangible aim, is creating new tourism complex in the historical archaeology complex of Axsikent, that's very significant, and creating sustainable tourism practices through promoting very rare and rich cultural heritage, as well as using our resources to the best benefit of the local economy.
Ayni paytda Axsikent arxeologiya merosi obyekti asosida Axsikent turizm klasterini tashkil etish konsepsiyasi ishlab chiqilmoqda. Unda siz kabi boy tajribaga ega xorijiy ekspertlarning ishtiroki borligi bilan xursand bo'lmaydi.
And the Namangan's governor's office and government's aim is to create new complex, up-to-date modern tourism complex based on Axsikent. And inviting you, esteemed expert from abroad and local, is, creating the complex with advice of yours.
Axsikent yodgorligiga muhtaram prezidentimiz tashriflaridan so'ng ushbu obyektni turizm markaziga aylantirish bo'yicha boshlangan amaliy ishlarimiz davom etmoqda.
We are proud that the Axsikent tourism complex is the initiative by our esteemed president, and this conference is about to help, to realize his advices and instructions.
Bosh rejaga ko'ra uning tadqiqot olib borilgan obyektlardan ochiq osmon ostidagi muzeylar barpo etiladi. Markaziy Osiyoda eng katta muzeylardan biri bo'lishi kutilmoqda. Axsikentning qadimiy dovrug'ini tiklash maqsadida ramziy darvoza quriladi. Umar Shayx Mirzo va Boburning Kamoliddin Begzod chizgan suratlari asosida ularning haykali bunyod etiladi. Sayyohlar uchun Sirdaryo bo'ylab sayr qilish va ko'hna shaharni tomosha qilish imkoniyatlari yaratiladi.
According to the master plan of the new complex in Axsikent tourism complex is to create the biggest museum complex in the Central Asia, as well as creating the symbolical gate of Namangan and tourism through the revitalizing the heritage of Umar Shayx, the King Umar Shayx and Babur, which was depicted by the Kamoliddin Begzod, as well as creating good tourism infrastructure through the river of Sirdaryo. So there is a very interesting extra fact that I don't have on my paper.
Axsikent yerimizdan avvalgi 3-asrda tashkil topgan Farg'ona davlatining poytaxti, Buyuk Ipak yo'lining asosiy shaharlaridan biri bo'lgan.
Just brief information about the history, why we are choosing Axsikent as a tourism driver, is that this very ancient city was developed 300 years before Christ, and it was one of the key cities of the ancient Silk Road.
Boburnamada alohida ahamiyatga ega shahar ekanligi haqida ko'p yoritilgan va Bobur o'z hayotini ko'p qismini shu shaharda yashaganligi, bu yerda mudofaa qilganligini bevosita o'zini mana shu avtobiografik asarida yoritib o'tgan.
And a very well-known autobiographic work of Babur Name, starts by the mentioning about the city of Axsikent. Along with that, throughout his life, Babur lived for some periods of his life, also had military campaigns around Axsikent ancient ruins currently.
Va bu qadimiy shaharga o'sha qadimiy davrlarning o'zidayoq avlodlarimiz tomonidan inson uchun eng zarur bo'lgan ichimlik suvi mana hozirgi kunda mana shu yer ostidan olib kelinganligi, mudofaa tizimi barpo etilganligi va ko'chalarni rejalari, boshqa hamma arxitektura chizmalarini o'rgansangiz, haqiqatda har bir mana shu o'zbekistonlik, o'zbek fuqarosi, o'zbekistonliklar umuman mana shu menimcha o'ylayman odamzod faxrlansa arziydigan ishda bo'lgan va bundan biz haqli ravishda faxrlanamiz.
And Axsikent's significance is not limited by Babur's heritage itself, but it was developed through the very sophisticated system of irrigation, system of canalization, as well as the systems of defense, hundreds and hundreds of years before Babur. And this way, this is kind of not only the heritage of Uzbek people, this is the heritage of humankind's achievements.
Men bugungi konferensiya ishtirokchi birinchi konferensiyani o'tkazishimizdan maqsadimiz aytmoqchimanki, hali nafaqat Bobur, boshqa mana shu namoyandalarimiz mana shu shahardan yetishib chiqqanligi bizni g'ururlantiradi va hali o'rganishimiz kerak bo'lgan ishlarimiz, ilmiy tadqiqotlarimiz hali hammasi oldinda. Men o'ylayman, bu tarixiy konferensiyada xalqaro darajadagi nufuzli mehmonlarimiz o'z birinchi ishtiroklarini mana shu amalga oshirayotganligi va bu yo'lda bizga hamkor bo'layotganligi uchun minnatdorchilik bildiramiz.
And we are happy that this is just the first step to create tourism, boost tourism in Namangan and Farg'ona Valley, and we are happy that in the very first stage, these very good ladies and gentlemen, experts from abroad and locals are joining with us to create this, to put this first step. And we are very sure that we will have follow-up with more conferences, more workshops, more projects with experts to help boost the tourism.
Yana bir bor mana shu Gullar festival doirasida o'tkazilayotgan konferensiyamizga xush kelibsizlar. Men o'ylayman, mana shu konferensiya bahonasida yanada mana shu yurtimizni, mustaqil O'zbekistonimizni hurmatli prezidentimiz olib borayotgan islohotlarni butun dunyoga tanitishda, mana shu nufuzini oshirishda bugun konferensiyamiz yaxshi xizmat qiladi.
And in conclusion, I wish that the success to the work of the conference and what we are starting now, and by doing so professionally, we would be answering to the call by our esteemed president and to boost local economy through tourism and promoting rich cultural heritage. Thank you very much. Katta rahmat, tadbirimizni ajoyib aynan faktlar bilan ochib berganingiz uchun. Ertaga xudo xolasa ekspertlarimiz Axsikentni o'z ko'zlari bilan ko'rib, aynan qanchalik bu mahobatli obyekt, qanchalik prezidentimiz tomonidan haqiqatan ham bir necha yildan keyin turizmni drayveri bo'lishiga nima ishonch bilan aytganlarini bular o'z ko'zi bilan guvoh bo'ladi va xudo xolasa ekspertlarimiz o'zlarini sohalari tomonidan aynan Axsikentga baho berishlarini ertaga xudo xolasa ekskursiya davomida amalga oshiramiz. And thank you very much, esteemed dear Governor, for the opening speech and also very important insight and the information about the history of Axsikent. And with your permission, I would like to invite rector of the Oriental Studies University, Gulchehra Siva. She couldn't attend physically, so she would be delivering her speech online through Zoom. Agarda ruxsat bersangiz, keyingi nutqni aynan hozirgi ilmiy amaliy konferensiyamizni hamkori, qaysidir ma'noda ilmiy asosini yaratib beradigan katta maktablardan biri Toshkent davlat sharqshunoslik universitetining rektori Zoomdan ishtirok etmoqchilar. Ularni nimasini tinglasak. Bevosita konferensiya ishtirokchilariga murojaatlarni tinglasak. Marhamat, Gulchehra.
Endi so'z bering.
Agarda nima
So'z bering ana.
Gulchehra, siz onlaynsiz. Agarda ovoz nimasini unmute qilsangiz, hamma eshityapti. Marhamat, ustoz.
Assalomu alaykum. Mani eshitdingmi?
Eshityapti. Gulchehra, eshitilyapti ovozingiz. Bemalol
aziz konferensiya ishtirokchilari avvalambor Zoom orqali ishtirok etayotganimdan juda ham afsusdaman va bu holda ahamiyatga egalik ishtirokchilarimiz tomonidan e'tirof etilishiga shak shubha yo'q, chunki bugungi kunda bizni asosiy davlat miqyosida amalga oshirilayotgan prezidentimiz tomonidan qo'yilayotgan vazifalarda bizni Toshkent davlat sharqshunoslik universiteti ham bevosita ishtirok etayotganligi turizm sohasini rivojlantirish, turizm salohiyatini butun dunyoda namoyish etish bo'yicha bizni jamoamiz vakillari ham bu yerda qatnashayotganligi va aynan Namangan viloyati hokimligi bilan birgalikda mana shu konferensiyani tashkil etishda biz ham qo'shilganligimiz men uchun shaxsan juda ham faxrli va bizni olimlarimiz, vakillarimiz bu anjumanda qatnashayotganliklari ham biz uchun faxrli. Hurmatli konferensiya ishtirokchilariga shuni alohida ta'kidlashni xohlardimki, oxirgi paytlarda O'zbekistondagi hech qayerda bo'lmagan juda ham bir muhim va butun dunyoga e'tirof etish mumkin bo'lgan shunday ajoyib bir maskanlarning borligi, Axsikent kabi juda ham bir tarixiy ahamiyatga ega bo'lgan vohalarning borligi va makonlarning borligi bizni oldimizda shu kungacha qilingan ishlarni yanada rivojlantirish va butun dunyoda eng katta bir industriyaga aylanayotgan, katta bir investitsiya kiritish manbasiga aylanayotgan va shu bilan birga xalqlarni o'sha makonlarning egasi bo'lgan millat, elat va umuman o'sha xalq vakillarini faxrlanishiga sabab bo'ladigan masalalarni borligi va buni biz aynan O'zbekiston aholisi va shu jumladan ziyolilar bu yo'nalishlarda juda ham hali qiladigan ishlarimiz ko'pligini alohida e'tirof etmoqchiman. Yaqinda biz Toshkent davlat sharqshunoslik universiteti delegatsiyasi bilan Xitoyda Sian shahrida bo'ldik va mana shu Sian shahri bilasiz Buyuk Ipak yo'lining eng dastlabki nuqtasi hisoblanadi, asosiy boshlang'ich shahri va mana shu Buyuk Ipak yo'lida mavjud bo'lgan Osiyo, Markaziy Osiyo va xususan O'zbekistondagi muhim qadimiy va juda ham katta ahamiyatga ega bo'lgan madaniyatni va iqtisodiy rivojlanishni va ijtimoiy holatni ko'rsatib berishi mumkin bo'lgan juda ham katta bir ahamiyatga ega bo'lgan tarixiy obyektlarni mavjudligi bizni juda ham ko'p ishlashga chorlaydi. Mana shu Siyanda Sirakot harbiylari bor bo'lgan shunday qazilmalar mavjud bo'lgan joyga minglab dunyo aholisini kelayotganligi kishini hayratlantiradi. Va shu jarayonda nima uchun bizdagi Axsikent kabi juda ham qadimiy ahamiyatga ega bo'lgan, juda ham qadimiy tarixga ega bo'lgan shu kabi katta bir obyektlarni o'sha darajada targ'ib eta olmayotganligimiz va biz ham shu kabi Farg'ona vodiysida mavjud bo'lgan, ayniqsa Namanganda mavjud bo'lgan juda ham katta bir tarixiy obyektlarni targ'ib qilishda hammamiz kuchlarimizni birlashtirishimiz kerak ekanligini yana bir bor o'sha yerda ham o'yladik va Prezidentimiz tomonidan bizga Namangan viloyatidagi ikkita tuman yoki Farg'onadagi Rishton tumanini ham Sharqshunoslik universitetiga mana shu o'sha yerdagi mas'ullar bilan, hokimiyat bilan yoki operatorlar bilan birgalikda turistik obyektlarni va tarixiy madaniy obyektlarni targ'ib qilish vazifasi yuklatilgan. Biz bundan keyin juda ham katta bir rejalarni belgilab, ma'lumki bugungi ilmiy konferensiyamiz ham mana shu tarixiy obyektlarni, xususan Farg'onadagi eng muhim joy hisoblangan madaniy tarixiy obyekt hisoblangan Axsikentni o'rganish, tadqiq etish, targ'ib etish bo'yicha qilinadigan xulosalarni biz albatta juda ham katta darajalarda targ'ib etib yoritishimiz kerak deb o'ylayman va biz mana shu jarayonda jamoamiz bilan birgalikda hurmatli hokim janoblariga aytishimiz mumkin va bu yerda qatnashchilarga ta'kidlashim mumkinki, bor kuch harakatlarimizni sarflagan holatda mana shu jarayonlarda ishtirok etamiz. Bugungi ilmiy anjuman ishiga katta muvaffaqiyat tilayman va taklif uchun katta minnatdorchilik bildiraman. E'tiboringiz uchun rahmat.
Ko'p rahmat. Bildirgan fikrlaringizni xorijiy ekspertlarimizga ham yetkazish maqsadida Dr. Hajrayeva marhamat qisqacha mazmunini yetkazib bersangiz.
Yeah, in short, I will summarize Madam Professor Siva's speech. Dear participants, dear guests, I really appreciate that you are here in this beautiful Namangan city, and I apologize that I couldn't attend this conference online, but somehow I'm really honored being a speaker here. And it is very important that our university, Axsikent University of Foreign Studies, are collaborating with Namangan this Hakimiyat. And it is important thing that we are really having pride that we are having such a historical places such as Namangan and Axsikent, and which right now we should mention that our honorable president is giving that much importance to the industry of tourism and development. So here we should unite, and we need the DOS experts views and experiences for these days, and if we unite together, we can grow our tourism industry. So recently we have visited the historical city Xi'an in China, which is like one of the Silk Road cities. And we should say that that is like kind of a very ancient city, and in Central Asia we are also having that capacity of Silk Road cities as well. And as a historical place, Axsikent is one of the historical place. So in this case, we should promote that social status and promote tourism. So why we cannot use our ancient history? Why we cannot be proud of that? So now we can just say with the experience of the this international expertise, and then getting the knowledge from this Chinese experience. So we are here to grow and to unite. And then here. We should say that our university is working with a few regions of Namangan, Rishtan. They have visited recently, and then with their cooperation, we are promoting these beautiful places. And based on that, you know, we can just say the whole over the world that we are here. Let all over the world see our beauty and our history. And here I would. I'm grateful to the Namangan Hakimiyat, especially the government of Namangan, that they are giving a lot of attention and importance to this history and the place. And for the conference guests and participants, wish you all the best. And let us unite, let us grow our beautiful cities, and we want to be you know, to show our history to the world. Thank you.
Katta rahmat, ustoz, masofadan turib ham nima qilganingiz, lekin kela olmaganingizni biz albatta ertaga Axsikentni to'g'ridan to'g'ri borib ko'rish davomida kompensatsiya qilasiz degan umiddamiz, chunki albatta juda katta olimlarni yubordingiz, lekin o'z ko'zingiz bilan ko'rib, chunki rahbar sifatida o'zingiz baho berib, o'zingiz nazorat qilmasangiz, ma'lum bir narsalarni tezroq amalga oshirishimizga to'sqinlik qilishi mumkin. Katta rahmat. Turizm, undan keyingi adabiy turizm, tarjima, bevosita gidlarni tayyorlash, Namangandagi til biladigan yoshlarni ish bilan ta'minlash, brending va xudo xohlasa o'sha Amerika, ingliz zabon mamlakatlarida Namanganni tanqid qilishga yordam beradigan ekspertimiz markazga so'z beradigan bo'lsa, ular hokimimizga o'zlari qilgan mehnatini bitta parchasini sovg'a qilmoqchilar, keyin nutqini davom ettirsak. Mark, please, we have your books ready to present to our esteemed governor. Then we proceed to the speech. Thank you so much. O'tgan kunlardan markaz janoblari, Namangan yoshlari va kitobsevarlari foydalanishi uchun o'zi bilan yaqinda nashr qilingan O'tgan kunlar romanining 50 ta nusxasini olib keldi. Birinchi nusxasini hozir mana sahar yetib keldi. Nashriyotdan birinchisini sonini hokimimizga taqdim etsalar, ertaga xudo xolasa kutubxonada Namangan yoshlari uchun alohida taqdimot tadbirini amalga oshiramiz. Mark. Mark, we would love short comments. Later on, we will have more lengthy introduction. Please, the floor is yours. Ekranga bir nimamizni berib qo'yishingiz mumkin. Bannerimizni bersalaring, как раз taqdimot uchun mos keladi.
You know, I haven't been here for maybe 25 or 26 years. So I'm going to call Namangan Lee my old friends because now almost 30 years engaged in Uzbekistan. Rajiv the other day at lunch said that this is really your entire life that you've spent studying, learning, living with people from Uzbekistan. So first of all, I want to thank Namangan Lee for having me in your beautiful city. Namangan's governor, Shavkat Abdulrazikov, thank you very much for having me. The invitation itself of what we're doing with a 30-year view is very innovative. It's cutting edge. I haven't seen it before. So congratulations on your vision and bringing us all here today.
Thank you.
I can't thank enough Timur Mirzayev for his incredible patience of handling logistics. The staff and leadership of Namangan, thank you very much for having me. I got to meet some Ustaz Lar on the train last night, and I have to say I know nothing compared to these gentlemen who've spent their entire, if I've spent my entire life with Uzbekistan 30 years, they've spent maybe 2 lives, maybe 2.5 lives with Uzbekistan. And so I'm humbled. I learn something new every time I come here. So thank you all for having me. As Timur Khan mentioned, I translated Ukan Kumar into English. And what struck me in this long voyage, 15-year voyage of translating this book, is this ecumenical world that Qadiri brings to us of Turkestan prior conquest of 1865. As you know, it's set in Tashkent in 1845. But there's this ecumenical world that he depicts. And Ukan Kunar is really about memory and loss of a world that is no longer available to him in the 1920s. Kazakhs became more Kazakh. Uzbeks became more Uzbek. And then eventually they became more Soviet, right? Qadiri was concerned about that. And when you look at the Kokand Hanate, you have Kipchaks, and then you have sedentary peoples, these different ethnicities at play, right? But I have to remind people that Ukan Kumar is not just an Uzbek novel, it's a piece of world literature. And he depicts this ecumenical world of different faiths, different ethnicities prior to conquest that somehow were in conflict and somehow worked together. And with all the tensions that are depicted in the novel between Kipchaks and sedentary people, I have to remind you that Fedora Khan's wife was a Kipchak. The first president of the Kokand Autonomous Republic was a Kazakh. So this is the ecumenical world that Qadiri was talking about, of people working together. So, Akajan, you've brought together this ecumenical world that Qadiri died for in 1938. So don't underestimate the importance of what we're doing. As a translator, I'm really a storyteller. And when I think about the literary landscape of the Farg'ona Valley, I sort of think, in tourism, which is something I'm relatively new to, I kind of came up with this idea that tourism really begins at home. You read a book, you see a movie, you watch a cooking show, you read Salman Rushdie, and I want to go to India, right? I read Iqbal, I want to go to Pakistan. I go to Malaysia, I want to explore Southeast Asia further and go to Indonesia and meet my colleague for coffee. Tourism begins at home. And all of these disciplines that people are bringing today sort of puts it into the laps of people at home so that they can dream of going to see another place. But there are some concerns with that I have as developing literary tourism. And the first is what we call narratology, narrative. And this is why I was so passionate about Ukan Kunar. If you all don't tell your story, someone else is going to tell it for you. And as an Anglachani from America, as a translator, I've kind of done that. And that makes me feel uncomfortable. I collaborated with many, many, many Uzbeks to produce this book. And that's important. But I want us to decide, what is the narrative of Axsikent? What is the narrative of Farg'ona Valley? And so I'm thrilled that we begin with Axsikent, and we have such a good advisor that's priceless to us, to tell the story. What's that? Oh, you need to.
No. Everyone understands this.
All understood.
Everyone speaks. He is a tourism expert, everyone.
Yeah. So I almost made that, I used to be an interpreter, and I made the #1 mistake of talking in a long narrative without letting the translator or interpreter translate. So what's our narrative? We have to decide that. You know, what is the story that we're trying to tell? I hope that it dovetails with Qadiri's ideas, because he died for Babur, right? He died trying to remember Timur. So when we lay flowers at the tomb of Babur in Kabul, we are remembering the Jadidis and their sacrifice, right? So narratology, we have to decide what is our story. I'm also a learning and design guy, all right? I do learning design. I ask myself, how are we gonna analyze, develop, implement, and then evaluate what it is we're trying to teach visitors through literature, right? What are we trying, what is our end, what are we trying to teach visitors who finally get off their couch, watch a Netflix, hopefully a Ukana Kunlar someday? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Uzbekistan. I'd like to have that as a program on Netflix. You know, but we have to implement learning and design principles. What do we want to teach? How are we going to teach it? And how did we teach it? And what did they learn? And how do we measure what they learned, right? And of course you have places like India, you have places like Pakistan, the Singapore's president came. They're all artists at this, right? So we're in good company in terms of our advisors with institutional knowledge, support from leadership in Namangan, you all as experts in Namangan League who get to tell their story of the Farg'ona Valley, right? So learning and design principles. And then we have, of course, translation. That's central to all of that, right? You know, how do we translate that narrative into our target audience? So for better or worse, I've been in America my whole life. I know what Americans are thinking when they walk into a tourist venue, right? And in my entire life, I could study, inshallah, Uzbek for another 50 years. I will never have your abilities in the Uzbek language, never. My brain works differently. So it's through collaboration and learning and design and translation, we can focus what is our message, how are we going to deliver it and articulate it. And we can't overestimate this. This is the purpose of an independent Uzbekistan, the ability to do this. So, you know, I've been speaking with Timur Akaf for months now. He's been very patient with me. And, you know, he brought to my attention an offer that I knew nothing about. I'm ashamed to say I have a master's degree in Turkic languages and literatures. And we have Abidjan Chusti. And at first I thought he meant the chef. Like, why on earth would I train? He's here. I can't wait to meet you. I've been wanting to go to your restaurant forever. I thought, you know, okay, I'm going to translate a cookbook into English, you know, and then I go to Ziod Uz and I find the poet, Chusti. And I am not going to offer a translation today because I have not had a chance to collaborate with my Uzbek colleagues. So I'm not going to murder your poet at a conference, okay? But he's a beautiful writer, and he's part of that ecumenical world of the Farg'ona Valley. I was one of the 2 first Peace Corps volunteers in the city of Kokan in 1995. And Kokan, I think about Kokan every day. Okay? Every day of my life, 30 years. And they made me the man that I am today. Okay, and I'm grateful for that. I've spent every other day in Badurahan Palace, Urda. I don't call it palace anymore, that's diminutive, it's in Urda. It's where Badurahan ruled the Farg'ona Valley, the Kokan Hane. So, you know, where Abidjan, of course, Mr. Chusti, you know, gained his knowledge in Kokan. Of course he did. It's the land of Umar Han. It's the land of his wife, Nadira, right? Her tomb is there, his tomb is there. It's a beautiful area near a madrasa. They've cleaned it up and really restored it beautifully. I didn't bring any. Yeah, so inshallah, I will soon in the near future be able to read some lines from her. So Namijan Chusky came from this ecumenical world of Kokand, of Kipchaks, of Tajiks, Kipchaks becoming Kyrgyz and Kazakh and Tajiks and Uzbeks, right? This ecumenical world. And that ecumenical world, really beginning with Baburids, right, in many ways, sort of is his heritage that he drew upon, that he captured. You know, the last time I was here, I went to Mukimi Madrasa, you know, where the beginnings of Uzbek theater. Hamza, who was, you know, murdered in Shahi Mardan. It's a rich area. We know many of the names, but we have yet to articulate it to potential tourists and to create an experience for them that they will leave understanding not more just about Uzbekistan, but that ecumenical world around them, that natural link between Central and South Asia. For a while I worked for the US government, and the number one argument we had is old Sovietologists wanted to keep Central Asia within their department because it's the former Soviet Union. My Pakistani counterparts, my counterparts from India, argued with them and said that this is no longer relevant. There's a broader heritage that stretches all the way to Southeast Asia, all the way to Istanbul in Eastern Europe, to Western China, to Mongolia, a massive geographic area where 74 years of history does not capture. Where did he go? So I want to thank you all for having me today. We need to introduce these methodologies. We need to continue on presenting our heritage in an articulate way that creates a tourism experience for visitors. So the moment they enter the international airport and they leave international airport, they've been submerged in this language and literature that is so rich. And I want to thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Asosiy meseji, demak, aynan Axsikentni imkoniyati, adabiy imkoniyati muhitidan foydalanib, albatta turizmga xizmat qilish. Mark, next, take your seat. And thank you very much for the present to the governor. Demak, Anvar ikrom so'z berdilar. Hozirga tarjima qilmaymiz. YouTube'da yo'qlab tarjimasi bilan berar ekanlar. Keyingi nimamiz bevosita Markni so'nggi so'zlari nima bo'ldi? Demak, O'rta Osiyo, ayniqsa Axsikent merosi butun dunyoning merosi va yana eng muhimi Janubiy Osiyo bilan juda bog'liq. Ya'ni bu yo'l bevosita hokimimiz aytgandek Boburnomada boshlangan birinchi qator Axsikent haqida bo'lsa, Umar Shayxning o'limi haqida bo'lsa, demak oxirgi misralari Delida, Agrada yakunlangan. Shu sababli keyingi nimamiz nutqimizda qarsak olishligini iltimos qilaman, chunki sababi qarsaklarni balandligiga qarab turib, hozirgi mehmonimiz Shohruxxonni olib kelish kerakmi? Amitabh Bachchanni olib kelish kerakmi? Qaysi Bollywood yulduzini istaysizlar? Qaysi misol uchun qo'shiqchisini istaysizlar? Mamlakatimizni bevosita Hindiston va Yevropada moda orqali va kino orqali tanitishga yordam beradigan shaxs bizni turizm va madaniyat elchimiz va albatta Xudo xolasa aynan Namanganda va Axsikentni targ'ibotidagi asosiy yuzlarimizdan biri bo'lishi kutilayotgan Rituberi xonimga beradigan bo'lsak, marhamat ularni sahnaga taklif qilamiz.
Assalamu alaikum, Namangan. Aziz dostlar, Janab Hakim, Honorable Governor of Namangan region, senior officials from the government, delegates, media, and my friends. It is a moment of enormous delight for me as a cultural and tourism ambassador for Uzbekistan in India to be here at the Farg'ona Valley for the International Scientific and Practical Conference. Before I begin, I want to congratulate the vision and all the hard work, Mr. Temur Mirza and everybody else who I'm sure there have been a lot of people involved, the gardeners especially. It has been the most beautiful festival I have seen. I have never visited a flower festival, so I think this is the first time in the world that something like this has happened, at the scale that it's happened and so beautifully done. So I think it would be a shame if the world was not made aware of this. It is a phenomenal, beautiful festival that the whole world has to see. And I'm going to make my effort to make sure that as many people as I know get to see this and want to be here next year for it.
Next up, just to get a message. It was there.
Qadrli do'stlar, xotin janoblari, barcha tashrif buyurgan mehmonlar, bu go'zal onlardan foydalanib, o'zim O'zbekistonning Hindistondagi turizm va madaniyat elchisi sifatida Farg'ona vodiysiga, Namanganga taklif qilganingizdan nihoyatda minnatdorman, boshqa osmondan yetdi. Shuningdek, Temur Mirzayevni bu darajada bizni sabr bilan, matonat bilan bizni shu tabriklab berganlar uchun ularga ham tashakkur etamiz. Bizni bir-birimizni bog'lab, bunday go'zal maskanlarga bizni yetakladilar. Bu go'zal maskandan bahramand bo'lish kerak, albatta butun olam va butun dunyo. Va shuning uchun men o'z elchi sifatida butun dunyoga bu go'zallikni namoyish etishda qo'ldan kelgancha harakat qilaman va O'zbekistonni dunyoga tanishda har doim xizmat qilaman.
For me, Uzbekistan and India are like two siblings who live apart. There are striking similarities in our culture, language, cuisine, architecture, to name a few things. Uzbekistan has been my muse since I was a student in fashion. The arts, craft, music, exquisite textiles, beautiful hand embroidery, the inlay work, woodwork, the furniture, and carpets from Uzbekistan have been my inspiration.
O'zbekiston va Hindiston xuddi bir opa-singil, bir aka-ukadek, lekin yiroqda, o'zidan ozgina bir-biridan yiroqda yashovchi opa-singillarga o'xshaydi. Shunday bir o'xshashliklar borki, uni biz madaniyatda, tilda, oshxonasida, arxitekturasida va juda ham ko'p bir madaniyatga oid bo'lgan joylarda uchratishimiz mumkin. O'zbekiston men uchun bir ilhom darajasiga ko'tarildi. Bu meni moda dunyosida bir talaba davrida O'zbekistonga mehrim ochdi. Chunki uning madaniyati, musiqasi, tekstil va hunarmandchiligi beqiyos edi va O'zbekiston meni har bir ishimda ilhomlantirdi.
Our countries are a real treasure trove of ideas, talent, innovation and creativity. Uzbekistan for me is sublime luxury. The prolific culture and profound history is testimony. The Farg'ona Valley is a personal favorite for me. As a designer, it is the home of the most gorgeous ikkats. I have done many fashion shows and many presentations using ikkat, and I've called it the Farg'ona Fantasy, which is a melange of two great cultures, and Uzbekistan and India.
Bizning mamlakatlarimizni agar yostirgan bo'lsak, uni bir go'zalligi bilan birgalikda o'zini tarixi va madaniyatiga oid juda bir o'xshashliklari bor va uni ayniqsa biz madaniyatda namoyon bo'ladi va Farg'ona vodiysi men uchun juda ham bir qalbimga yaqin desam bo'ladi. Men uchun bir uyimdek bo'lib qolgan, chunki adresni yaralishi ayni shu Farg'ona vodiysiga kelib taqaladi va bu orada men juda ko'p shu Farg'ona vodiysi bilan bog'liq bo'lgan o'zimni ko'rgazmalarimni yaratganman. O'zbek ikkat deymiz ingliz tilida, bu adres bilan birgalikda, ya'ni Farg'ona fantaziyasi, ya'ni ikki mamlakatni birlashtiradigan O'zbek va Hindistonning bir go'zal madaniyatga oid ishlarni modada namoyish etganmiz.
In September 2019, I was honored to be invited to attend the first International Handicrafts Festival in Konkan, an initiative of the Honorable President, His Excellency Mr. Shaukat Mirza. The inauguration was a spectacular ceremony with the participation of 80 countries. I felt I was at an Olympic Games opening ceremony.
Aytishki, bizning muhtaram prezidentimiz Shavkat Mirziyoyevni maxsus takliflari bilan 2019-yilda birinchi Qo'qonda o'tkazilgan hunarmandchilik festivalida qatnashish vaqtiga muyassar bo'ldim va undan zavqlandim. Chunki bir qarashda xuddi biz Olimpik o'yinlarda shu darajada ko'p insonlar yig'iladi-ku, xuddi shunday bir manzaraga guvoh bo'ldim va bu meni hamisha yodimda saqlanib qoldi.
It was also very, very spectacular, and I was especially impressed and moved by this initiative of the Honorable President, as it proved that he valued the importance of his country's artisans and their craftsmanship.
Va albatta shuni aytish kerakki, prezident janob oliylari mamlakatdagi hunarmandlarni va ularni ishlariga bo'lgan, san'atiga bo'lgan hurmatlari juda cheksiz va buni biz o'sha festival doirasida ko'rib o'tdik va bu behuda sazolardir.
The highest officials of Uzbekistan rightfully considered the handicrafts to be the soft power of the country. They create the branding of the country. They had the vision that the new generation of craftsmen need encouragement and support to not give up and to continue the legacy.
O'zbekistonning barcha shu insonlari va davlat tashkilotidagi rahbariyat shuni yaxshi biladiki, O'zbekistonning shu bir yumshoq, ya'ni mo'jizakor kuchi bu uning hunarmandchiligida, uning insonlarida va qo'llab-quvvatlab turishadi. Shu sababli va bu merosdan merosga o'tadi.
Everyone in the world talks about the incredible markets, the beautiful city of Bukhara and Samarkand, the old town of Tashkent, the rich textiles, the beautiful pottery, stunning handmade jewelry, ikkats of course. And I got to see everything under one roof at the festival in Konkan.
Hamma albatta biladi O'zbekistonning go'zal makonlari, Samarqandning, Buxoroning shu go'zal hunarmandchilik ishlarini va obidalarini biz bilamiz, O'zbekistonga mashhur va bu bir tom ostida, ya'ni hozirda mana Farg'onada namoyish etilayotgan festival doirasida ham shuni ko'rib turibmiz.
Of course, the world talks about Bukhara and Samarkand, but it is now time for the world to understand the beauty and the creativity of cities like the Farg'ona Valley and to start looking at that for inspiration. I think the world needs to be inspired by Uzbekistan and see the talent that we have here.
Albatta aytib o'tilgandek, Buxoro va Samarqand mamlakatning eng go'zal vohalaridan biri, lekin ayni vaqtda vodiy bizning diqqat markazimizda. Keling birgalikda endi vodiyni ham dunyo miqyosida tanitsak va uning go'zalligini, tarovatini butun dunyoga namoyish etsak.
Uzbekistan qualifies us to use luxury as an art form. to reflect all that is authentic and truly original.
Albatta aytish kerak, O'zbekistondagi ma'rifnomachilikka asoslangan yangi tushlik madaniyatga oid bo'lgan ishlar borki, hammasi o'ziga xos va betakrordir.
One of the main objectives for me is to redefine the concept of luxury in an Uzbek context, using our culture and handicrafts as the focus. Uzbekistan is a country of 35 million, a young population of aspiring Uzbeks with intellect, energy and creativity for innovation. Uzbekistan is poised to grow rapidly. Uzbekistan has to be the next creative center of the world.
Aytish mumkinki, juda yosh avlodga boy 35 millionlik aholi O'zbekistonni biz jahonga tanitishda uni shohona darajada ma'rifnomachilikning shohona bir namunalarini biz dunyoga tanitishimiz kerak va aslida bu yoshlar ular asosiy kuch hisoblanadi va butun dunyo nigohida mana shu kuchdan foydalansak g'alabaga erishgan bo'lamiz.
We have every reason to celebrate being Uzbek and make our soft power an international force to reckon with. We need the world to wake up and work with Uzbek craftsmen, Uzbek fabrics, Uzbek talent. And it's possible, and I believe that together we can do it. I absolutely love Uzbekistan. Thank you for having me here. And I will do my best to make sure that the world gets to hear about this beautiful festival, this great initiative, and all the wonderful work that we are doing. Thank you very much.
Maftunkor O'zbekistonning barcha go'zal O'zbekistonga xos bo'lgan madaniyatdan foydalangan holda dunyoni yanada maftunlantiraylik va birgalikda biz harakat qilamiz va men turizm va madaniyat elchisi sifatida qo'ldan kelgancha O'zbekistonni dunyoga mashhur qilishda davom etaman. E'tiboringiz uchun tashakkur. Rahmat.
Thank you very much.
Dear guests, I want to tell in English, but because I always try to use my English, I always catch my chance to use English. Today we have so many events, international events, and I'm so sorry that I have to go. But I want to say something. I have been in India as a student. 40 days, and I have been in Udaipur, Jaipur, Agra, Delhi, and I have been in Home Museum of Mahatma Gandhi, Gujarat. Yeah? And I have been in Pakistan as a mayor of city. I have been this person home. I was guest. And we are nowadays so many relationships with Punjab governor. Lahore is a sister city of Namanga. And I saw so many heritage of Babur's family, and I am proud. And I want to say in India, I learned one word in 40 days. And always I joke. मैं तुम प्यार करता है जो hamma narsaga ham to'g'ri kelsa kerak, men sizlarni sevaman degan. Shuning uchun mehmonlar xush kelibsizlar. Uzr so'rayman. Konferensiya ishiga omad tilayman. Sog' bo'ling. Yaxshi o'tkazing.
Katta rahmat. Albatta tadbirimizni ingliz tilida va shunday yuqori nuqtada o'z nima qilganingizga, davom etishiga sababchi bo'lganingizga endi nutqimizni bevosita mehmonlarimiz, xorijiy ekspertlarimiz bilan davom ettiramiz va hozir sahnaga bevosita O'zbekistonning eng ko'p hududlarida turizmni rivojlantirishga yordam berayotgan, aytish mumkinki Germaniyaning eng yaxshi tajribalarini O'zbekistonda targ'ib etayotgan, nafaqat Germaniya, balki dunyodagi boshqa ekspertlarni ham Qoraqalpog'iston, Toshkent, vodiyni turli xil shaharlarida turizmni har xil sohalar bo'yicha o'sishiga yordam berayotgan. Bizda ta'lim, kollej sohalarida juda katta investitsiya kiritayotgan albatta Germaniya hukumati va Germaniya hukumatini ishongan GIZ tashkiloti va xudo xolasa albatta Namanganda ham ularni Rebecca va Rengini xizmatlari bilan Farg'ona vodiysida turizmimizni yanada keyingi bosqichiga chiqishida xizmat qilayotgan aynan shu tashkilotni rahbar o'rinbosari Beate xonimni taklif qilsak, qarsaklar bilan kutib olsak, ular o'z munosabatlarini bildiradi. Xudo xolasa aynan Axsikent loyihasida hokimimiz aytib o'tgan hunarmandlarni qo'llashda, brending sohalarida albatta xudo xolasa aynan shu juda muhim tashkilot bilan birlashishni marhamat Beata Sho'rayaga men so'zni bersam, o'z nimalarini bildiradi.
Thank you very much, Timo. Dear participants of this conference, dear representatives from Tourism Department, from the Ministry of Tourism, dear specialists, colleagues, I'm very grateful to the Governor for the invitation to this conference. As Timo mentioned, I have a little bit a different topic. We are also dealing with culture and traditions and history, but more with the purpose to develop tourism area. And we realize that Axsikent is an essential part of the history of Farg'ona Valley. And this ancient settlement and the Axsikent ruins have paved the way for today's tourism potential. I think it was mentioned previously, and we should use this opportunity. At the same time, we are here in the City of Flowers, the 62nd Namangan Flower Festival, another great event to attract tourists, as the ambassador was just mentioning. It is a really unique event. The Namangan Flower Festival has the potential to not only stimulate the local or regional economy, but it can also place Namangan on the world map as unique destination for ecotourism and horticultural tourism.
Qadrli konferensiya ishtirokchilari, mehmonlar, xush kelibsizlar. O'z tarafimdan avvalambor minnatdorchilik bildiraman bu konferensiyaga taklif qilganinglardan. Bu qadimiy maskan Axsikent turizm rivojlanishini asosi bo'lib xizmat qilyapti. Chunki butun dunyoni nigoh solsak, ayni shu qadimiy obidalar va qadamjolar madaniyatni va tarixni ega bo'lgan joylardan turizmni rivojlantirish asos bo'la oladi va bugungi 62-chi Gullar festivali doirasida o'tkazilayotgan Axsikentni, o'sha qadimiy Axsikentni tarovatini butun dunyoga tarqatayotgan bir ajoyib festival deyapti. Shu bahona nafaqat mahalliy aholi va iqtisodi rivojlanadi, bu turizmni salohiyatini yanada oshiradi va mamlakat bo'ylab shu iqtisodga ijobiy ta'sir ko'rsatadi.
Flower Festival, the entire Farg'ona Valley can open its arms to the world and inviting everyone to immerse themselves in the region's culture, delicious local cuisine and traditional crafts such as chust knives, Rishtan ceramics and Farg'ona textile.
Farg'ona viloyati butun dunyoga o'zini ehtiyojlarini yoyar ekan, undagi maxsus o'zini brendlari bor, ya'ni chust pichog'i deymizmi yoki Rishton soqollari deymizmi, ana shularni biz butun dunyoga tanitishga muvaffaq bo'lamiz.
Also, the wonderful unique location of the Farg'ona Valley means it straddles Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. Each
ayniqsa bir ajoyib geografiy joylashuvi bor. Ya'ni qo'shni mamlakatni bir-biriga bog'lashtirib turadi. Qirg'iziston va O'zbekiston
Each are full of their own history and culture. But the cities of Osh, Batken, Kanibadam and Isfara also boast historical sites and diverse tourism experiences. So how about creating Farg'ona Valley gastronomic tours that highlight Uzbekistan's plov, Kyrgyzstan's beshbarmak and Tajikistan's kurotop?
judayam ajoyib so'zlar aytyapti. Har birining o'z tarixi va madaniyati birlashgan hisobda aytish mumkinki, ya'ni Qirg'iziston, Qozog'iston beshbarmog'i va Tojikistonni men bilmagan hozir the Tajikistan you said that Qurtobasi va bizning o'zimizga mos oshimiz bir-biriga mujassamlashgan.
With its beautiful landscapes and biodiversity, the Farg'ona Valley holds enormous potential for nature-based and adventure tourism. Areas around Namangan, Kanibadam, Isfara in Tajikistan and Batken in Kyrgyzstan can be further developed for trekking, hiking and birdwatching.
Ayniqsa bu turizm salohiyatini rivojlanishda Xonibodon, Batken kabi shaharlarni olsak, bunda biz ekoturizmni hamda tog'ga asoslangan turizmni rivojlantirishga erishamiz.
This is why we need to strengthen cross-border cooperation to develop more potential for tourism in the whole Farg'ona Valley.
Shu sababli biz chegaralarni yanada birlashtirgan holda, chegaralarda osongina mamlakatlarni yana yaqinroq olib kelgan holda turizm salohiyatini oshirishimiz va birgalikda harakat qilishimiz kerak bo'ladi.
We have to pay attention to develop tourism in a sustainable and very responsible way, and we also have to teach the population to think of this.
Bu mas'uliyatni his qilgan holda barqaror turizmni rivojlantirishga yo'l olishimiz kerak.
We are supporting to develop a marketing strategy for the whole Farg'ona Valley, starting from Axsikent and the Namangan Flower Festival.
Demak, biz Axsikent doirasida qilayotgan gullar festivalida qilayotgan Axsikentni tanitish doirasida Farg'onadan boshlaymiz.
2 weeks ago, 60 German tour operators were in Uzbekistan. They were divided into 5 tour groups, and one of the groups visited Farg'ona.
Demek 2 hafta avval 60 kishilik tur operatorlar kelishgan edi. Ular 5 guruhga bo'linib Farg'ona viloyatini turizm salohiyatini o'rganishga, uni targ'iboti bilan shug'ullanishdi.
And this group that visited Farg'ona reported very excited on the destination forum 10 days ago in Tashkent about their experiences, about the rich culture and history of Farg'ona, particularly about the handicrafts. They stayed in Rishtan and they painted their own plates. So they were very excited, and they said for sure they would increase their tour offers in Germany and they would attract more tourists, which means it's time for us to really set a good base here.
Demek, o'sha 10 kun oldin bu bizni tashrif buyurgan tur operatorlarimiz Farg'ona vodiysining shu go'zal madaniyatiga va hunarmandchiligini targ'iboti doirasida Rishtonda bo'lib ketishdi va bu kabi ajoyib shu Farg'onaga tegishli bo'lgan madaniyatni, turizm salohiyatini ayni vaqtda dunyoga taratish va bu asosda ayni paytda Germaniyaga borib shu tashrif buyurgan turistlar, ya'ni mutaxassislari birgalikda O'zbekiston salohiyatini yana targ'ibot bilan shug'ullanishadi.
So let me congratulate you once again to the Flower Festival, to culture and history, nature and hospitality. And with these words, I would like to give the floor to the specialists.
So'zlarimni gapirganimda men barchangizga bugungi festival bilan tabriklayman va mehmondo'stligingiz uchun va iliq munosabatlaringiz uchun tashakkur bildiraman va birgalikda kayfiyatda davom ettiramiz.
Thank you. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Beate, I'm very happy, every time to exchange ideas and as well as, doing things. There are a lot of, international organizations, there are a lot of initiatives. But as I'm repeating again, earlier I told about GIZ in short, but I have to admit, working as the Ministry of Tourism, as well as knowing you and your team, that GIZ being very practical and very, very supportive. So I'm with my background in education, what I most appreciate is what you are doing to tourism colleges, that you create a tourism lab so that kids studying not just theory, but also they are emerging to the practices, and it will help, it just puts them one step closer to the real life tourism. So once again, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and inviting your experts as well. Later on in the second session, we will have special visual aided presentation by GIZ in its project as well. And now I want to give floor to the main person in science, I think, for Axsikent. This is Professor Dr. Anargoyev. His Excellency is, I think, devoted most of his time, research, excavation in archaeology site of Axsikent. And now this gentleman of science would introduce us to Axsikent in overall. And tomorrow we will continue with the trip to Axsikent so that what we are discussing here can be applicable and clear. Agarda ruxsat bersalar, endi so'zni domlamiz hozirgi tadbirimizni barcha ilmiy asosi desa ham bo'ladi, ya'ni eng ko'p aynan shu Axsikent obyektida ilmiy faoliyat olib borib, hali aytib o'tdik, prezidentimizga ham bevosita shu obyekt haqida asosiy ma'lumotni berib, uni qo'riqlab, uni ehtiyot qilib va ilm prinsiplari asosida rivojlantirayotgan, o'rganayotgan olimimiz professor Anargoyevga so'z bersa-da, ular ham bu yerda ishtirok etayotgan mahalliy ekspertlarimizga va xorijiy ekspertlarimizga tarjima orqali bir Axsikent nima o'zi degan savolga bir qisqacha ma'lumot bersalar. Ertaga esa, xudo xolasa, domla boshchiligida, Axsikent direksiyasi rahbari Anvar aka boshchiligida Axsikentga tashrif buyuramiz va u yerda birma-bir har bir obyektni va aytib o'tilgan o'sha hokimimiz aytgan Sirdaryo bo'ylab sayohat qilamiz. Domla, iltimos, ozgina ma'lumot berib o'tsangiz.
Assalomu alaykum, konferensiya anjuman qatnashchilari, hurmatli xorijiy mehmonlar, janoblar, xonimlar. Mana bugun biz bu yerda mana Namangan shahrida, Gullar shahrida ham gullarni ko'rib, ham yangi insonlarni ko'rib, ham qadimgi tarixni, Axsikentni eslayapmiz.
Good morning, dear friends, guests, as well as local experts of tourism and heritage and science. We are very happy to welcome you in Namangan in the frame of the very beautiful festival and match it, wed it with the science that will contribute later to tourism.
Tarixga nazar solsak, umuman tarixda hech bir xalq o'zi yakka holatda, ko'rinishda jahon sivilizatsiyasidagi eng buyuk yutuqlarga erisha olmagan. Hammasi xalqlar bir-biriga o'zini qandaydir yaxshi madaniyati, salohiyati, ilm fani bilan, kasb hunari bilan bir-birini to'ldirib, hozirgi biz erishgan texnologiya, hozirgi zamonaviy holatga masalan yetib kelgan.
And as a fact of science, that there is no one single nation that reaches peak or reaches civilization by itself without contact with other neighboring nations and in cooperation with other cultures. So this is true in any case, in any civilization, and especially in the region that's concerned.
Bundan 2000 yil oldindan davrga nazar solsak, masalan shu davrdan boshlab butun Yevraziya materiyida, ya'ni Osiyo, Yevropa mana shu qit'asida umuman hozirgi dunyo bo'yicha xalqlarning umumiy muloqot tili ingliz tili bo'lganidek, u davrda muloqot tili so'z tili bo'lgan. So'z tilida hozirgi O'zbekiston hududidagi, atrofdagi respublikalar hududidagi asosiy xalqlar ikki tilda gapirishgan, so'z tilida va turkiy tilda.
The same true is about Axsikent, because the area involved many people of many nationalities as well as languages. As Stephen Professor mentioned it, most of the local language was the language of Sulh and Turkey. So they merged with the knowledge as well as the culture to create such a great civilization.
Turk so'x savdogarlari bundan o'sha 1,5 ming yil burun ham Xitoyning 30 ga yaqin shaharlarida, Koreya shaharlarida, Yaponiyada va boshqa joylarda hamma joyda o'zlarining faktoriyalari bo'lgan. U yerda doimiy yashab, ham butun o'zaro sharq bilan g'arbni bog'lashda asosiy vositachi rolini o'ynagan.
And the local communities that are the Turk and Sulh traders had their we can say special headquarters in more than 30 cities of ancient China, as well as Korea. So they kind of united 1,500 years ago. They played very vital role, central role for the exchange of ideas, exchange of the knowledge in the Silk Road.
1,5 ming yil oldin Xitoyda tayyorlangan ipak matolari bilan birgalikda Farg'onada, So'xda, Samarqandda tayyorlangan ipak matolarini So'g'diylar Bizantiyaga, Rimga olib borgan.
And 1,500 years ago, silk, when we say it's associated with China, but along with Chinese silk, Sulh and Turk traders traded production of the Chinese and the Central Asian products until the Rome, until the Byzantium and Egypt.
Endi shu darajaga borganki, bundan 1,5 ming yil, 1400 yil burunlari Xitoyda shaharlarda, Chananda, boshqa shaharlarda yaratilgan musiqa san'ati, musiqa shu Samarqand, Farg'ona, Toshkent musiqasiga bevosita o'xshab qolgan. Sabab nimaga? Xitoyda hatto imperator saroyida ham shu yerdan borgan musiqachilarni, aktyorlarni juda dil bilan nima bilan kutib olishgan.
Over 1,000 years ago, if you look at the archives of the emperors, music and entertainment, you notice Samarkand, Tashkent, Farg'ona motifs. That's because a lot of artists, artisans, musicians used to travel along the Silk Road. Especially, they frequently visited Emperor's palace, so Emperor enjoyed Central Asian culture as well.
Endi bu yerda bizni Axsikentda qanday o'rni bor degan savol tug'iladi. Albatta buni o'rni o'ziga xos. Bundan 2128 yil, 2150 yil deylik, 2150 yil oldin Xitoy manbalarida, ya'ni Xitoy tilida yozilgan manbalarda Axsikent to'g'risida, umuman Farg'ona to'g'risida juda iliq gaplar aytiladi.
And why this is related to Axsikent that we are discussing today? 2,150 years ago. So if you look at the archives of the Chinese archives, most of the mentions about Central Asia is about Axsikent. Most of the positive reviews about the diplomatic relations, trade relations is about Axsikent.
Chunki u davrda Axsikent deb atalmagan shahar. Axsikent shahri Farg'ona deb atalgan.
Because at that time there was no mentioning of the name of Axsikent, but the ancient name of Axsikent was Farg'ona.
O'sha davrdagi Xitoy manbalari ham vodiyning nomi Farg'ona, ham uni poytaxti Farg'ona degan bo'lganligi uchun Xitoyda hozirgacha mana hieroglif ishlatiladi. Shuni farq qilish uchun shaharni Farg'ona degan, ya'ni Yuan degan, endi vodiyni Dayuan degan, ya'ni vodiy katta Farg'ona degan. Agar ikkita hieroglif ishlatmasa, u Xitoy tilida buni tushunib bo'lmagan. Shuning uchun ikkita hieroglif ishlatib, Farg'ona shahri, Farg'ona vodiysi deb ajratgan.
So in the Chinese language, they have two characters for Farg'ona. Because one Farg'ona is about Axsikent, about the small city. Another Farg'ona refers to the Farg'ona Valley. So to differentiate two Farg'onas, they use Yuan for Axsikent, Dayuan or Dovon for the greater Axsikent or greater Farg'ona.
Endi shular to'g'risida yozganda aytadi, Farg'onaliklar deydi, erkaklar bilan ayollar juda teng huquqli. Ayollar ham erkaklar bilan barobar otda bemalol yura oladi, otda chopib ketayotib, yoyda otaladi deb yozadi.
What's very interesting and relevant about these mentions of the Chinese annals is that they highlight that in the Axsikent or Farg'ona society, women and men's rights are totally equal. Women, both men and women, ride horses, and they can, shoot from the bow when they are riding the horses. So they were very good, society with equal rights that are very relevant today.
Xuddi shu davrda bu o'zaro aloqalar tiklanib, juda bevosita aloqalar bo'lgan paytda buni Farg'ona to'g'risidagi, ya'ni Farg'ona vodiysi, ya'ni Axsikentdagi, bu yerdagi atrofdagi hayot bilan Xitoy va boshqa davlatlardagi shaxsan Xitoy imperatori tanish bo'lgandan keyin bu yerda o'sha samoviy tulporlar borligini eshitgandan keyin Xitoy imperatori shunday uchqur, qanoti bor otlarga ega bo'lishni istaydi.
Because knowledge about the Farg'ona Valley in China started by legends. The legend was that in Farg'ona Valley, people having the horses, normal horses, as well as the flying horses. So emperor for his army was very interested about the flying horses and to get them. And then they started real, physical contact with Farg'ona Valley.
O'sha Farg'onaga kelib, milodiy eradan oldingi 128-yillarda bu yerda bo'lgan, qaytib 26-yilda borib Xitoy imperatoriga bergan hisobotda aytadi, u yerda Farg'onaning otlari deydi, umuman biz buni ko'rmaganmiz. Bularning qanoti bor, u uchadi deydi. U mumkin emas, yo'lda yurmaydi, u yurganda bevosita uchib ketadi deydi. Shuning uchun imperator bunga erishishga juda harakat qilib, oxirida mana bir necha yillardan keyin albatta o'zaro aloqalarda bunga erishadi, oladi.
128 years before Christ, emperor sends emissaries. So emissaries and ambassadors returned with a report after 2 years of mission. They reported to him that they are so fast, the horses are so fast that they leave no trace on the ground. So that means they fly. So he got very interested and they started diplomatic relations. After in 128.
Endi yana bir siyosiy hayotga ikki og'iz gapirsak, o'sha davrda Farg'onada deydi, podshoh hukmronlik qiladi, davlatni boshqaradi, lekin parlament bor deydi, oqsoqollar kengashi deydi. Ular davlatni, podshohni butun olib borayotgan siyosatini nazorat qiladi deydi.
So what's interesting about the political life of the Axsikent or Farg'ona was that at the time it was a kind of the country was ruled by the padishah or king, but most of the decisions were made by parliament, that's Senate. That means the elderly has the council and they decide the policy and they can criticize the king's decision.
Podshoh deydi, qonun qoidalar asosida idora qilish kerak davlatni deydi. Agar qonun qoidadan tashqari chiqsa deydi, parlament, ya'ni oqsoqollar kengashi podshohni ishdan olish darajasiga huquqiga ega bo'lgan deydi.
So the Senate, all the council of the elderly had such a power that at times when the economy was not controlled well, when the policy was not set well, they had the voice and power to change or replace the ruler at the time.
Shunday shahar, ya'ni Farg'ona, Axsikent shahri keyingi taraqqiyot davrida mana musulmonchilik tarqagandan keyin 9, 10, 11 asrlarda juda kengayadi. O hududda 400 gektardan oshib ketadi. Lekin butun hudud mana ertaga borganda ko'rasizlar, Axsikentni o'sha 5 metr chuqurlikda hamma joyi yer osti suv vodoprovodlari bilan, ichimlik suvlari bilan o'sha davrda ta'minlangan.
And also another achievement of the Axsikent was its irrigation system and canalization system that provided water, fresh water from kilometers away into the fortress and into the city center.
Shuning uchun endi har bir xonadonda, har bir qurilishlarda o'zini individual shaxsiy joyida kanalizatsiyalari bo'lgan. Chunki hech kim hech qachon axlatni ko'chaga tashlash u yoqda tursin, bu to'g'ri o'ylamagan. Hatto manbalarda yoziladi, mana Samarqand, Axsikent, Toshkentga kelgan arab sayyohlari 10-asrda aytadiki, hattoki qish oylarida tomni tepasidan kuralgan qor kechgacha olinishi kerak bo'lgan. U axlat tashlash u yoqda tursin. Shuning uchun biz Axsikentda ham, mana Afrosiyobda men ishlaganman Samarqandda. Ochganimizda ko'chalar juda ham toza, hech qanday axlatni qoldiqlari yo'q. Bu haqiqatan o'sha arab sayyohlari to'g'ri yozgan ekan.
And there is a very interesting insight of the Arabic travelers about Axsikent's neat and cleanliness, because the society was very accustomed to cleanliness that not a single rubbish could be thrown away from the house outside, and they had a very sophisticated system of canalization, sewage. So sewage system, and the professor, esteemed professor, worked in Afrosiyab, in Samarkand as well, and Axsikent. So Arabic annals repeatedly say, so even when it's snowing, in the morning, if it snows, it is ruled that after afternoon they have to clean it by automatically. So it was a rule, it was implemented very strictly. So during the excavation of the Axsikent ruins, they found out about the street and there wasn't the trace of the trash or waste.
Endi o'sha Farg'ona Axsikent, Farg'ona qachondan boshlab Axsikent deb atalgan? Axsikent 9-asrning ikkinchi yarmidan manbalarda tilga olinadi, lekin tangalarda 11-asrning o'rtasigacha ham Axsikent ham Farg'ona deb aytiladi.
And about the name of the denomination of the Axsikent. So the name started to be used starting from the 9th century. And only in the 11th century we can find coins with the writing inscription of Axsi or Axsikent, but at the time still they use it interchangeably, both Axsi and Farg'ona.
Endi Axsikentda bitta doim savol tug'iladi ilm oldida. O'sha Samarqandda Mo'g'ullar Chingizxon boshlab bosib olgandan keyin maxsus otryad jo'natadi Farg'onaga, Farg'onani ham zabt etish uchun. Lekin bu yerda haqiqatan jang bo'lganmi, uni qanday qo'lga olgan, bular to'g'risida ma'lumotlar yo'q hisob, juda oz. Shuning uchun biz aytganidikki, o'ylardim men ham yaqin vaqtlargacha Axsikentda o'sha Mo'g'ullar kelgandan keyin unda katta jang bo'lmagan, u jang orqali qo'lga olmagan, lekin keyingi paytda isyon natijasida qo'lga olgan bo'lsa kerak deb o'ylardik.
About the Axsikent's later history, about the Mongol conquest of the Central Asia, there wasn't any trace about the Chinggis Khan and his army entering the Farg'ona and conquering it. There wasn't any historical traces. So I thought there wasn't any, big fights or battles in the, territory of Farg'ona Valley. So it was my perception before.
Hozirgi tadqiqotlar shuni ko'rsatyaptiki, Axsikent o'sha Mo'g'ullar kelib, bu hamma joyni O'rta Osiyoni bosib olgandan keyin, oradan 10-15 yil o'tgandan keyin o'sha eski burungi Axsikentda juda katta yer qimirlash bo'lib, yer qimirlash natijasida vayron bo'lgan ekan.
Later we found out through the seismology research that there was conquered, there was the battles of Chinggis Khan, but it wasn't totally destroyed. But later, in the 17th century, there was a huge earthquake that destroyed current Axsikent. So population left it.
Chunki shaharlarni, butun sivilizatsiyalarning vayron bo'lishida urushlardan ko'ra tabiiy ofatlar ko'proq zarar keltirgan. Masalan, o'sha Hindistonlik xonim aytgan, mana hozir Pokiston hududida eski Harappa sivilizatsiyasi bo'lgan, o'shada Mohenjo-daro degan juda katta shahar bor. O'shini ham vayron bo'lishi shu tabiiy ofatlar natijasida vayron bo'lgan. Shunday katta shahar. Bu yerda Axsikentdan xuddi shunday.
So historians conclude that most of the demolishment of civilization or cities is very little connected to wars, but mostly connected to the natural disasters. So the same is true about the ancient Indian civilization that now in the territory of Pakistan, Mohenjo-daro. So the city also had experienced the same, fate as Axsikent. So it was, the civilization declined only after the earthquake. So Axsikent had the same experience.
Bundan shu vayron bo'lgandan keyin Axsikent keyin bir 5 kilometr g'arbiy tomonga ko'chgan. Hozirgi Axsi qishlog'ini atrofiga. U ham Sirdaryoning o'ng qirg'og'ida.
So after the earthquake, it moved 5 kilometers westward. Tomorrow we will have a trip, to the field trip there. So it was a Axsi city. So the settlement moved 5 kilometers.
Xuddi shu shaharda Bobur Mirzoning otasi Umar Shayx Mirzo butun Farg'ona vodiysiga podshohlik qilgan, hokimlik qilgan.
So the father of Babur, Shah Babur, Umar Shayx, ruled from the very city of Axsi.
U shahar 1620-yillarda oxirida juda qattiq yer qimirlash natijasida bu manbalarda yozilgan yer qimirlash natijasida butunlay vayron bo'lgan.
So 1620 that happened another big earthquake that ruined the whole city to the dust.
Shundan keyin butun Axsikent aholisi hozirgi asosiy qismi Namangaga ko'chib kelgan, uni qolgan qismlari butun vodiyga tarqab ketgan.
And after that so they have to move to other cities and throughout the Farg'ona valley.
Shundan keyin 17-asrning boshidan boshlab Namanganni umuman salohiyati vodiyda Shimoliy Farg'onada tepaga ko'tarilgan, cho'qqilarga ko'tarilgan.
And only then other cities emerged after the Axsikent was ruined.
Mana qisqacha shu, endi shunday shaharni mana vayronasi shu eski Axsikent yodgorligida asosida mana turizm maskani, Axsikentni turizm maskaniga aylantirish maqsadimiz ekan. Demak bu yerda o'sha 19-yilda respublika prezidenti bo'lganda juda ajoyib gaplarni aytgan edi.
So now our task is convert this old Axsikent ruins into the tourism complex. So in 2019, our esteemed president stated the following that helped us to focus on this area.
Biz bu nimani Axsikentni shunday qilishimiz kerakki, butun jahonda hozir ochiq osmon ostida muzeylarni tashkil qilgan mana Italiya, Ispaniya, Fransiya, Xitoy va boshqa Yaponiya shunga o'xshagan davlatlarning tajribasini o'rganib, shu asosida Axsikentda biz ochiq osmon ostida muzey tashkil qilishimiz kerak deb aytganlar.
So in 2019, President initiated that we have to learn from Italy, Spain, France to establish open museums under the sky or open sky museum. So this was the initiative by our esteemed president.
Bu ishda albatta mana xorijiy ekspertlar, o'zimizning mahalliy investorlar bunda albatta bevosita qatnashib, shuni biz amalga oshirsak, o'sha oldiga qo'ygan vazifamiz respublika prezidentining orzu-umidi amalga oshadi.
And here with this conference, we are kind of teaming up to realize this very important initiative of President. Katta rahmat. Marhamat, sanaychisiz. Tomoshabinlarimiz uchun muhim narsa hozir domlamizning nimasidan oldin. Biz bilan birgalikda Bahridagi Chustiy tashrif buyurdilar. Kulinariya temasida alohida taqdimot bo'ldi. Dima Qayyum o'z jamoasi bilan Dilmot aka bilan tashrif buyurdilar. Ular targ'ibot masalalarida alohida taqdimotlari bor. Haydarbek Bobobek katta manbashunos olimamiz Toshkentdan faqat shu tadbirda 1 soat ishtirok etib qaytish uchun tashrif buyurishgan. Turkiston TV telekanalidan Qozog'istonning eng yangi yosh katta telekanalidan ekspertlar bor. Riyan xonim Indoneziyadan, bizda Zahra xonim arxitektor Pokistondan va undan tashqari Ahmadjon aka Qosimov eng katta tarjimonlarimizdan Hindiston yo'nalishida, Ahmad Xandil Misrdan bevosita arxeologiya yo'nalishidagi taqdimotlari bor. Shuning uchun hozir domlamizdan keyin Koreya bilan Zoom aloqada 4 ta dunyoning 4 ta burchagidan Zoom bilan ulanadigan nimalarimiz bor ekspertlar. Shuning uchun bu tadbirda batafsil ishtirok etishni va ommaviy axborot vositalarimiz har bir detalga hushyor bo'lishlarini va bu yerda qatnasha olmayotganlarga yetkazishlarini iltimos qilib qolaman. Domla marhamat.
Rahmat. Ochiqmi bu?
Ruxsatnomani bitta.
Menga so'z berilishidan juda ham minnatdorman. Rahmat. Avvalo turizmni rivojlantirish masalasi bizning davlatimizning umuman siyosati programmasiga, dasturiga kiritilishining o'zida juda katta mohiyat va mazmun bor.
I see very deep meaning when the government is initiating tourism. Why tourism? There is a meaning behind that. It's not just tourism for the sake of just visitors.
Zero turizm xalqlararo munosabatlarni shakllantirishda, taraqqiy etishida va O'zbekistonni jahon miqyosida siyosati, iqtisodi, ijtimoiy, madaniy, ma'naviy aloqalari uchun turizm juda katta vosita hisoblanadi.
Because with the benefit of tourism or one people moving to another country, we create kind of dialogue between the cultures and exchange ideas, exchange, we enrich our culture, spirituality, sciences. So this is kind of catalyst of change.
Bizning Toshkent davlat sharqshunoslik universitetida mana rektorimiz Zoom orqali ishtirok etdilar. Juda bir muhim fakultetimiz bor. Bu jahon iqtisodiyoti, siyosati va turizm fakulteti deb ataladi.
In our university, Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies, we have special departments that focuses on international affairs as well as tourism.
Shu munosabat bilan bizning universitet Farg'ona vodiysi va Surxondaryo miqyosida maxsus manzillar, rayonlar belgilanganki, o'sha rayonlar bo'ylab turizm obyektlarini aniqlash, ularni ro'yxatlashtirish va tavsifini yaratish, описание distributsiyasini tayyorlash va turizm dasturlariga joylashtirish ustida gruppalarimiz ishlab turibdi.
Now currently students and the professors of the university started research and field trips to Farg'ona Valley cities as well as to Surxondaryo, and they are compiling data, analyzing it and creating content later on to distribute it internationally in various languages, plus supporting them scientifically.
Turizm platformasi doirasida arxeologik obyektlar, mana Axsikent haqida hozir Abdulhamid Anorboyev batafsil gapirib berdilar. Arxeologik obyektlar, tabiat, turistik obyektlari va oziq-ovqat, gastro turizm, dress turizm, kiyim-kechak turizmi, urf-odat turizmi va boshqa yo'nalishlar bo'yicha kontentlar tayyorlash jarayoni ketyapti.
Now there is a process. The students and the professor of the instructors of the university started to making kind of platform to compile or database of the content on food of the ethnicities, food in the villages, dresses, as the esteemed professor said, kind of dress tourism, fashion tourism, textile tourism, gastronomy tourism, as well as ethnotourism.
Men minbardan foydalanib yana bir qo'shimcha sohani alohida ta'kidlab aytmoqchiman. Tarjima.
Using this opportunity, speaking before you, I want to highlight one special field that we will focus.
Bu turizm manbashunosligi.
This is called
source
study.
Source of tourism.
Source of study. That's mostly related to the monasteries.
Bizga qadar yetib kelgan yozma yodgorliklarda ziyoratgohlar, turli xil avliyo valiylarning makonlari, dafn etilgan yerlari va boshqa turli tarixiy obyektlar haqida yozma ma'lumotlar, ya'ni yozma yodgorliklarda yetib kelgan ma'lumotlarni yig'ish va sistemali ravishda ularni xrestomatik materiallar bir tomondan xrestomatik va ilmiy asoslangan tadqiqotlar yaratilishi kerakligini ta'kidlamoqchiman. Shu jumladan bu yerda bir o'rningizdan turib qo'yasiz. Ulug' ustoz, manbashunos olim Haydarbek Bobobekov, professor Bobobekov. Men bu kishini huzurlarida manba haqida men gapirishim hatto uyalaman. Chunki bu kishi bu sohani juda katta bilimdoni. Men shu kishining borliklaridan foydalanib bu gapni ta'kidlayapmanki, yozma yodgorliklardan olinadigan turistik obyektlar haqidagi ma'lumotlar biz uchun arxeologik ma'lumotlar qatorida juda katta ahamiyatga ega bo'ladi.
I want to use this opportunity before us because we have very esteemed academician, Professor Dr. Haydarbek Bobobek with us, especially arrived from Tashkent because as esteemed professor said, sources of tourism or sources used in the benefit of tourism is as important as excavation in archaeology because this is one thing physically, this thing written history gives another level of knowledge about the shrines, about the places of worship, about the places of natural wonders, about the places where people had some ceremonies. So, using this opportunity, His Excellency just wanted to highlight that sources, using sources, historical written sources is also very important to promote the tourism that we are talking about.
Bu men ishlab turgan kafedra, men uni rahbari edim, hozir yaqinda yosh kadrga topshirdik. Asosan ilmiy rahbari bu kafedrani men o'zim manbashunoslik va tasavvuf germenetikasi deb ataladi.
There was a department that His Excellency used to be head. Now his student is now managing it. So it has special sources and the Sufism hermeneutica.
Shu bu yerda bir guruh tashkil qildik. Yozma yodgorliklar bo'yicha materiallar yig'ish va tartibga solgan holda yuqorida aytgan dasturimizni amalga oshirish harakati ketyapti. Men o'ylaymanki, bu ishimizning natijasi turizmni, O'zbekistonda turizmni nafaqat O'zbekistonda, balki manbalar O'zbekiston chegarasi bilan cheklanmaydi. Manbalar O'rta Osiyo miqyos manbalari. Shu ma'noda, keng ma'noda bu bizning ishimiz region, mintaqa bo'ylab turizm obyektlarini aniqlash va tarixiy asoslarni o'rganishga xizmat qiladi deb o'ylayman. Rahmat e'tiboringlar uchun.
Most important message of esteemed professor is that tourism is not studied only by the students of the tourism faculty. We have to use also the knowledge of the students who are researchers who are studying sources, historical sources, written sources, sources, on stone, inscription, so that all this knowledge can be converted to something, to be used in stories to the tourist, to the, perspective, brochures, websites, so that it is science-based. Thank you very much for your attention. And agarda ruxsat bersalaring, aytib o'tganimdek, shuncha ekspertlarimiz hozir tanaffusga chiqishdan oldin bizda Koreyadan hozir domlamiz aytgandek arxeologiya qanchalik ahamiyatli ekanligini, endi uni zamonaviy texnologiyalar yechimi bormi? Ya'ni fan faqatgina o'sha to'g'ridan to'g'ri o'sha nimani qazib olishdan iborat yoki uni o'rganishdan bog'liqmi? Uni zamonaviy texnologiya orqali yana ham qo'llab-quvvatlash mumkinmi, saqlab qolish mumkinmi degan temada Bekzodjon degan olimimiz bor. Koreyada ilmiy ish qiladilar va Koreyani o'z bog'lab berasizmi? Bekzod Kamilov. Aynan EGIS, ya'niki geografik indikatorlar tizimi, ya'ni kompyuterlashtirish tizimi bo'yicha Bekzodbekning alohida taqdimoti bor. Hozir to'g'ridan to'g'ri Koreyadan bizga ulanadi. Undan keyin tanaffusdan keyin biz bevosita aytib o'tgandek hurmatli o'sha professorimiz Bobobekov, Dima Qayum aka va Ahmad Qandil nimasidagi nutqlarga o'tamiz. Marhamat, Bekzodjon, agarda biz bilan bo'ladigan bo'lsangiz, o'zingizni tanishtirib boshlasangiz yaxshi bo'lardi. Shunda men ingliz tilidan tarjima qilishimga ham ehtiyoj qolmasin. Bekzod. Bekzod. Internet bormi? Agarda Bekzod ulanish shart cho'zilayotgan bo'lsa, Ahmad Qandilga bersak, chunki uni matni tayyor. Mr. Ahmad, please, the floor is yours. Bekzod, we have some internet issues. Okay, Bekzod will be with us. Please, Ahmad Qandil janoblari haqida qisqacha aytib o'tsam, Bekzod 10 minutdan keyin, after 10 minutes, we will return to you. Ahmad Qandil, Misrlik jurnalist, bevosita media sohasi eksperti va bizni Yaqin Sharq va Shimoliy Afrika hududidagi targ'ibotimiz. U hudud uchun maxsus Axsikent, Farg'ona vodiysi uchun yaratiladigan arab tilidagi platformani asosiy partnyorimiz sifatida, hamkor sifatida chaqirganmiz. Xudo xolasa bizni Hindiston sohasini gaplashdik. Domla Xitoy hududini gapirdilar. Demak, hamma hududni qoplayapmiz. Demak, hozir juda katta MENA hududi deymiz, Shimoliy Afrika va Yaqin Sharq hududini ekspertini nimasini tinglasak. Iltimos qilaman, agarda nimasi tarjimasi bo'ladigan bo'lsa, yordam bersalar. Qizlarimiz Ahmad Qandilning nutqini tarjimasi bor, matnini bersalaring. Xo'p, bo'ldi. Bismillah Ahmad.
السلام عليكم. في البداية أود أن أعرب عن خالص الشكر وتقديري لفخامة رئيس دولة أوزبكستان شوكت ميرديايف على جهوده المتميزة في دعم العلاقات المصرية الأوزبكية التي جعلتنا هذا اليوم للمشاركة في هذا المؤتمر العلمي الدولي.
Ladies and gentlemen attending, at the outset I express my sincere thanks and appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the State of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, for his distinguished efforts in supporting the Egyptian-Uzbek relations, which made us here today to participate in this international scientific conference. Assalomu alaikum, hurmatli xonimlar va janoblar, qatnashayotgan shu fursatdan foydalanib, men o'zimning minnatdorchiligimni janob olilari Prezident Shavkat Mirziyoyevga bildirmoqchiman va bu yerda qatnashib, bu ilmiy konferensiyada qatnashib turishimiz sababchisi ham shu kishi bo'ladi.
كما أوجه الشكر للسيد شوكت عبد الرزاقوف حاكم نجمجان عند السادة الضيوف من الخبراء الدوليين والمحليين وصديقه المتميز الفعال تيمور ميرزيايف خبير السياحة ومؤسس مركز الإبداع توريزم لاب.
I also thank Mr. Shavkat Abdurazakov, Governor of Namangan Province, and to the distinguished guests from the international and local experts, and to my distinguished and effective friend for the success of this file, Mr. Timur Mirzayev, a tourism expert, founder of the Creative Center Tourism Lab. Men yana o'z minnatdorchiligimni Namangan viloyati hokimi Shavkat Abdurazakov bildirmoqchiman. Bundan tashqari, hurmatli xalqaro ekspertlarimiz, mahalliy ekspertlarimiz va ushbu loyihaning omadli kechgani uchun Turizm Lab markazining asoschisi hamda turizm eksperti Timur Mirzaevga o'z minnatdorchiligimni bildirmoqchiman.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس إن خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. صدق الله العظيم.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, all people indeed, we created you from a male and female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-aware, great truths of God.
إن اختلاف المدن وشعوبها آية الله في كونه والسفر عبادة ربانية وتأملية وفكرية حسن عليها ديننا. Yes.
The difference between cities and their people is a sign of God in Pune, and travel is divine, contemplative and intellectual act that our religion has encouraged us to do. Shaharlar va odamlar o'rtasidagi farq bu Qur'onda ham yozib qo'yilgan va Qur'onda aytilganki, sayohat bu ilohiydir. Shuning uchun ham odamlarni bilish, sayohat qilish dinimiz bilan ta'kidlab qo'yilgan.
وإيمانا منا بقدرة السياحة في نشر السلام والتفاهم الدولي والعمل على مصالح الشعوب وتوفير فرص جيدة للعيش الآمن والانفتاح الثقافي والحضاري والتبادل لكل الفرص المتاحة بين البلدين. نحن اليوم في فرغانا.
And out of our belief in the ability of tourism to spread peace and international understanding, work for the interest of peoples, and provide good opportunities for safe living, cultural and civilizational openness, and exchange for all available opportunities between the two countries we are today in Farg'ona. Turizm, tinchlik, xalqaro bir-birini tushunish, bir-birining qiziqishlari uchun odamlar bir-biri bilan ishlashlari hamda bir-birlariga ikki davlat o'rtasida imkoniyatlar yaratishga, madaniy, sivilizatsiyalik va tinch yashash uchun aloqalar o'rnatishga yordam beradi. Shuning uchun ham biz bugun Farg'onadamiz.
أوزبكستان نالت شهرة كبيرة لدى المصريين منذ القدم باسم بلاد ما وراء النهر، كما يرتبط شعبها بشعوب الدول العربية وفي مقدمتها مصر بالعديد من الأواصر التاريخية والثقافية والدينية. وما زالت القاهرة تحتفظ ببعض مآثر علماء وأعلام من أوزبكستان، وهناك العديد من الشواهد والآثار التي توضح عمق العلاقات التاريخية بين البلدين، مثل مقياس النيل في القاهرة الذي أنشأه أحمد الفرغاني، كذلك جامع ابن طولون وهو من أكبر جوامع مصر من حيث المساحة، وحديقة الأوزبكية التي أنشأها سيف الدين أوزبكي اليوسفي.
O'zbekiston Misrda har doim qadimgi davrlardan buyon daryo ortidagi davlat sifatida mashhur bo'lgan va arab davlatlari bilan, arab xalqlari bilan bog'liq bo'lgan. O'zbekistonlik Qohiradagi o'zbekistonlik Al-Farg'onining milometri Saif al-Din Uzbek al-Yusufiy tomonidan qurilgan Ibn Tulun, ya'ni Misrdagi eng katta masjid va o'zbek bog'i juda ham mashhurdir.
مصر من أوائل الدول التي فتحت سفارة لها في طشقند عام 1993، وكانت مصر أيضا أول دولة عربية تعترف باستقلال أوزبكستان في 26/12/1991، وأقيمت العلاقات الدبلوماسية بين البلدين من خلال التوقيع على بيان مشترك في هذا الشأن في 23/1/1992، بينما فتحت أوزبكستان سفارتها في القاهرة عام 1995، ولكن لم يتم تفعيل هذا التعاون المثمر إلا في عام 2018. كيف ذلك؟
1991 yil 26-dekabrda arab davlatlaridan birinchi bo'lib Misr O'zbekistonning mustaqilligini tan oladi. 1992 yil 23-yanvarda O'zbekiston va Misr o'rtasida birgalikdagi qarorlar, hamkorlik to'g'risidagi qarorlar imzolanadi. 1993 yilda bu munosabatlar yana ham mustahkamlab qo'yiladi. 1995-yilda Qohirada O'zbekiston Qohiradagi elchixonasini ochadi. 1993-yilda Toshkentda Misr elchixonasi ochiladi. Va lekin 2018-yilgacha bu munosabatlar juda ham samarali tarzda kechmaydi. Nega bunday?
كانت العلاقات في وقتها غير نشطة. تواصلنا مع سفير دولة أوزبكستان السابق، وقمت بترتيب موعد له في مجلس النواب المصري، حيث استقبله زعيم الأغلبية البرلمانية الدكتور عبد الهادي القصبي. بعد هذه الزيارة الناجحة قمنا بإعداد ملف كامل حول المستهدف من تلك الزيارة، وجاءت نتائجها مبشرة جدا، حيث ارتفع مستوى العلاقات والتواصل، وجاءت زيارات متبادلة بين الحكومتين المصرية والأوزبكية، وعقبها زيارة لفخامة الرئيس المصري عبد الفتاح السيسي. وفي المقابل قام فخامة رئيس دولة أوزبكستان شوكت ميرديايف بزيارة القاهرة عقب ذلك.
Shu paytgacha Misr hamda O'zbekiston o'rtasidagi munosabatlar unchalik samarali emas edi. Men sobiq elchi, O'zbekistonning sobiq elchisi bilan Misr parlamenti o'rtasida uchrashuv belgiladim va bu uchrashuv bo'lib o'tdi. Shundan keyin birgalikdagi uchrashuvlar boshlanib ketdi. Misr prezidenti Abdel Fattah el-Sisi O'zbekistonga davlat tashrifi bilan tashrif buyurgach, O'zbekiston prezidenti Shavkat Mirziyoyev ham Qohiraga tashrif buyurdilar.
واتفق الجانبان المصري والأوزبكي على تعزيز العلاقات التجارية والاستثمارية والاقتصادية، والعمل على زيادة التبادل التجاري والاستثمارات المتبادلة بين البلدين.
Misr va O'zbekiston savdo, investment, iqtisodiy munosabatlarni rivojlantirishga va birgalikda iqtisodiy aloqalarda va boshqa munosabatlarda birgalikda ishlashga kelishib oldilar.
الجانب الأوزبكي رحب بانضمام مصر لمنظمة شنغهاي للتعاون بصفة شريك حوار، وذلك أثناء فترة رئاسة أوزبكستان للمنظمة خلال قمة منظمة شنغهاي للتعاون، التي عقدت في مدينة سمرقند يوم 15 و 16 سبتمبر 2022، كما أكد استعداده لمواصلة تطوير التنسيق بين مصر وأوزبكستان في إطار عمل المنظمة، وهذا سبب كبير أيضا في رفع مستوى العلاقات بين البلدين.
15-16 sentyabr 2022 yilda Samarqandda o'tkazilgan Shanxay hamkorlik tashkilotining yig'ilishida O'zbekiston Misrning Shanxay hamkorlik tashkilotiga a'zo bo'lishini qo'llab-quvvatladi va bu bilan hamkorlikda ishlash munosabatlarini hamkorlikda ishlashga o'sha eng muhim qadamlardan birini qo'ydi. Shu bilan O'zbekiston hamda Misrning eng muhim va eng jiddiy hamkorligi boshlanib ketdi.
المقصد السياحي المصري يعد من أهم المقاصد السياحية بالنسبة للسائح الأوزبكستاني، حيث أنه يعد واحدا من أفضل 3 مقاصد سياحية يفضل السائح الأوزبكستاني السفر إليها، ونتيجة لذلك تم تصنيف مصر مرتين كإحدى أهم المقاصد السياسية للسياح الأوزبك خلال عام 2022. وشهدت أعداد السائحين الأوزبك الذين يزورون مصر للسياحة زيادة كبيرة خلال العامين الآخرين.
Demek, O'zbekistonlik turist uchun Misr eng muhim turistik destinatsiyalardan biri hisoblanadi. Misr O'zbekiston uchun 3 ta muhim turistik destinatsiyadan biri hisoblanadi. 2022 yil davomida bu ko'rsatkich, ya'ni Misrga tashriflar ko'rsatkichi 2 barobar oshdi. Oxirgi 2 yil ichida O'zbekistonlik turistlarning Misrga tashrifi sezilarli darajada oshdi va bu birgalikdagi hamkorligimizni yanada oshirishni va O'zbekistonga ham misrlik turistlarning kelishini amalga oshirishni taqozo qiladi.
وكيف نساعد أوزبكستان من خلال العمل على 3 محاور بصفتي مدير تحرير لأكبر الصحف والمواقع الحكومية بمؤسسة روزا اليوسف في القاهرة. سوف نسعى لنشر هذا المقصد السياحي في فرغانة وفي المقاصد السياحية الأخرى مثل سمرقند عند بخارى عند طشقند. لدي علاقات قوية برؤساء القنوات المصرية. سوف أحرص على تشكيل وفد إعلامي كبير في القنوات، بالإضافة إلى ترويج فيديو يتخطى الملايين لمشاهدته في الدول العربية ومصر والشرق الأوسط.
Men 3 ta sohada ishlayman. Birinchisi media sohasida. Mening birinchi o'sha soham, ishlash soham bu nashr sifatida eng katta Misrdagi eng katta gazetalardan birida nashr sifatida bu Roza al-Yusuf Foundation'ida men Misrlik telekanallar bilan, telekanal rahbarlari bilan juda kuchli aloqalarim bor va men O'zbekistonga keladigan juda ham katta telekanallar delegatsiyalarini tashkil qilish tarafdoriman. Bundan tashqari pressda, elektronik va ijtimoiy tarmoqlarda O'zbekiston haqidagi promotion videolar tayyorlash va uni 100 minglab misrliklarga, hatto millionlab misrliklarga va arab dunyosiga O'rta Osiyoni tanitish bo'yicha taqdim etish tarafdoriman. Bunda demak o'sha Buxoro, Samarqand va boshqa shaharlarni ham arab dunyosiga tanitish tarafdoriman.
والجانب الثاني وهو بصفتي المتحدث الرسمي للمجلس الأعلى للطرق الصوفية والمسؤول عن ما يقارب 20 مليون صوفي مصري، نسعى لتبادل الزيارات بين البلدين وخاصة في ملف السياحة الدينية والتي تشترك معنا دولة أوزبكستان في ذلك.
Demek men Oliy Sufiylar qarorlari Oliy Majlisining rasmiy spikeri hisoblanaman. Bu degani 20 millionlik misrlik sufilari uchun ham javobgarman.
وبصفتي مستشار إعلامي بمجلس النواب نسعى أيضا إلى دعم تلك العلاقات بين البلدين وتذليل أي عقبات. سوف أرفع تقرير بذلك إلى مجلس النواب المصري قريبا بإذن الله.
Mening media maslahatchisi, hokimiyatdagi media maslahatchisi sifatidagi mas'uliyatimda.
والجانب الثالث بصفتي خبير في مجال السياحة، حيث أعمل مدير تنفيذي لأقوى المبادرات المصرية وهي مبادرة ادعم سياحة بلدك. وسبق أن نظمنا رحلة إلى دولة روسيا منذ سنوات وكان السبب استهداف السائح الروسي، والحمد لله ساعدنا على عودة العلاقات وزيادة نسبة السائحين من خلال دور المجتمعي والشعبي من خلال تلك المبادرة.
Ikkinchi vazifam demak hokimiyatning media maslahatchisi sifatida ishlayman va bunda ham Misr parlamenti hamda O'zbekiston bilan aloqalarni qo'llab-quvvatlash tarafdoriman. Uchinchidan men turizm eksperti hisoblanaman va turizm eksperti sifatida o'sha Misrdan bo'ladigan har qanday takliflarni turizmga oid takliflar markazining ijrochi direktoriman va sizning davlatingiz hamda Misrning turizm takliflarini qo'llab-quvvatlayman. Biz shu kungacha 1 yil avval Rossiyaga demak sayohat uyushtirdik va rossiyalik turistlarni taklif qilish bizning asosiy maqsadimiz edi shu kungacha.
وفي الختام نسعد ونتشرف أن نكون سفراء لدولة أوزبكستان بهدف التواصل مع هيئة تنشيط السياحة المصرية وكافة الشركات بهدف زيادة التعاون من خلال الشركات السياحية، كما نوصي بزيادة أعداد الرحلات بين البلدين من كافة الشركات بهدف أن تكون وسيلة انتقال وبسعر وفي متناول الجميع من خلال الطائرات الشارتر، كما نسعى إلى وضع فرغانة على الخريطة السياحية في مصر، وأيضا نسعى إلى العمل بالتعاون مع مستر تيمور إنشاء موقع إلكتروني ناطق بالعربية ليكون جسر التواصل بين القاهرة والدول العربية بمنطقة الشرق الأوسط وبين دولة أوزبكستان. كما أيضا نسعى إلى الإعداد لزيارات عدد كبير من المشاهير من مصر في كافة المجالات للترويج لأوزبكستان عامة وفرغانة خاصة.
Demek xulosa o'rnida shularni aytib o'tishim kerakki, avvalo men uchun O'zbekiston davlatining turistik kompaniyalari bilan, turizm kompaniyalari bilan ishlash men uchun sharaf hisoblanadi. Endi Misr turizm promotion rahbariyati va barcha boshqa kompaniyalar O'zbekiston bilan turizm sohasida munosabatlarni yaxshilash tarafdori. Endi quyidagilarni taklif qilaman. Birinchi o'rinda sayohatlarni O'zbekiston va Misr o'rtasidagi sayohatlar sonini oshirish tarafdoriman. Buni ayniqsa o'sha charter sayohatlarini buning uchun arzon xalq ola oladigan transportatsiya, hammaning kuchi yetadigan transportatsiya, turistik markazlar kabilarni yaratish kerak va biz xohlardikki O'zbekiston Misrlik turizmning xaritasida ham mavjud bo'lsin. Ikkinchidan, O'zbekistonda arab tilida so'zlovchi televideniya, ya'ni telekanal yaratilishi kerak va shunda O'rta Osiyo butun arab davlatlariga va Qohiraga tanilgan bo'lar edi. Uchinchidan, mashhur odamlarni, demak O'zbekistondan hamda Misrdan mashhur odamlarni bir-biri bilan aloqasi va davlatlarimizga tashrifini uyushtirishimiz kerak bo'ladi.
وفي النهاية سعدت جدا بزيارة أحمد الفرغاني في الماضي للقاهرة، والآن أحمد قنديل أزور فرغانة. رحمات.
E'tiborlaringiz uchun katta rahmat. Mana shu mening takliflarim hisoblanadi.
Azizaxon katta rahmat tarjima uchun. Qiziq tomoni, nimaga gapirayotganda men bu narsalarni taklif qilaman, bu narsalarni qilishga tayyorman degan narsasi hayron qoldirgan bo'lishi mumkin. Biz hozirda o'ylayotgan nimamiz, xudo xolasa o'sha hokimiyat, hokim o'rinbosari Botir aka Nuriddinov, Anvar aka, Anvar Ikrom, bevosita Axsikent rahbari sifatida bizning nimamiz, maqsadimiz nafaqat xorijliklarni olib keldik, sayohat qildi, ketdi. Tadbir o'tdi, ketdi emas. Biz imkon qadar har birlarini Axsikentni va Namanganni turizm elchisi maqomida qaysidir ma'noda biz bilan doimiy aloqada turishiga manfaatdormiz. Shu sababli bu narsani kunning ikkinchi yarmida xudo xolasa davom ettiramiz va alohida nishonlash nimalarni topshirish tadbirimiz bor. Bu narsani e'lon qilmayotgan edik. Ya'niki har bir ekspertni o'zini yo'nalishi bo'yicha Namanganni o'sha xorijdagi elchisi sifatida tayinlash va janob Ahmad Qandil ham xuddiki Ahmad al-Farg'oniy Farg'onadan Misrga borgani kabi Misrdan boshqa Ahmad Namanganga Farg'onaga kelib endi xudo xolasa nimani targ'ib qilib beradi. Xudo xolasa Misrda va Shimoliy Afrika hududida Namanganni, Farg'onani madaniyatini. Shu sababli agarda shu status berilgandan keyin men nima ish qilaman deb turib ma'lumot berganimda shu informatsiyani izohlab ketmoqchi bo'ldim. Endi ruxsat bersalaring, hozirgi coffee break yoki o'sha kichkina tamaddimizdan oldin Koreyadan hali bog'lana olmagan Bekzodjonning 10 daqiqalik nutqiga to'xtalamiz va bu juda muhim texnologik yangilik. Marhamat Bekzod. Eshitib qolishdan o'rga. Yo'q, Koreyadan hozir mutaxassisimiz to'g'ridan to'g'ri ulangan. Chunki with us there is a Bekzod is joining us from South Korea. He works for the GIS. There is a technology company that create digital twins of heritage sites. Ministry of Tourism and my team worked with Bekzod and the Korean company EGIS, you can search it in the internet, to create a digital replica of Samanid Mausoleum and Minorai Kalon of Bukhara. Centimeter, millimeter to millimeter. So in any time we can build it from zero to the 100% accuracy. Or in the case of some destruction or some damage to this construction, we can renovate it to the originality. Bekzod tushundamisiz? Bekzod.
Assalomu alaykum.
Va alaykum assalom.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, Bekzod. You may go on. And please introduce yourself and your company, because it's high technology companies that will help us in Axsikent in other preservation works. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bekzod Komila from Aegis company, which is situated in South Korea. So I'm very honored to stand before you today as we gather here for the International Scientific Practical Conference on Farg'ona Valley Tourism Development, developing new Axsikent Tourism Center. So it is indeed a pleasure to see such a distinguished gathering of experts, scholars, researchers and practitioners from around the world who have come together to share their insight and expertise in the field of tourism development. So I would like also to share our company's experience working in Uzbekistan cultural heritage sites. Let me share my presentation and then I may go on. Thank you. Could you please allow me to share my screen?
Normally, adminli nimasini beringlar, akalar. How to do it? Is it? Host. Usually it's given status of host. Normally adminli nimasini qanday beriladi? Yordam bersa bo'ladi? Manimcha bitta narsa bo'ladi. Uchaslik tanlanadi. Uchaslik belgilanadi. Bekzod, urinib ko'ringchi.
Still deactivated.
Iltimos yordam beringlar. Bekzod, just a minute. Bu juda muhim loyihaning asosiy nimasi, mazmuni. Bu texnologik kompaniya dron orqali, sun'iy yo'ldosh orqali obidalarni syomka qiladi. O'tda aniqlik bilan. Bu televideniyada ham ishlatilmaydigan dronlar orqali va har bir millimetr, santimetrgacha syomka qilgandan keyin uni datasi yaratiladi. Bir necha terabaytlik va unda birorta toshi qulab tushsa ham o'sha nima signal beradigan bo'ladi. U yerda o'rnatilgan detektorlar albatta shu obidani nam o'tmasligi, yomg'ir, odamlarning ustidan yurmasligi bo'yicha nazorat qilish oson bo'ladi. Bekzod ulandimi?
Kirish iloji bo'lmayapti. Manda hozirani qo'yib, bo'ldi, endi o'xshadi. Rahmat.
Okay.
Ekran ko'ryapti mi?
Ha, ko'rindi.
Okay, we're going for waiting once more time, and then honor. Yes, sure. It's honor to participate on behalf of my company. Yes, sure. Let me start. Today, my topic is like the role of digital technologies in cultural heritage management and tourism promotion. In the example of our ongoing project in Uzbekistan, and before that, I wanted to use this opportunity to introduce our company. Our company Aegis, which is the company making digital twin technologies and based on GIS engine. So our company's main business area, in most cases, we do development and sales of GIS engine softwares and digital twin. Our company has 3 offices in Korea, 1 headquartered in Daegu, and then we have a R&D center in Busan, and then we have a business office in Seoul. So, and then here's a little information about our company, overseas projects. As you see in this map, we are doing many projects in the field of smart city, land information management, spatial information sharing platform, disaster safety, cultural heritage, and farmland management. So, owing to our GIS technologies, we can contribute in many fields of our social life. Now, I would like to turn your attention to the digital transformation. So, currently the world is facing the digital transformation. So, digital transformation can be found in any piece of our life. So, digital transformation is the introduction and integration of digital technology into all areas of life to create a new or modify existing work processes for a better life. So, keyword here is a better life. So, digital technologies are helping us to enhance our lives. So main areas of digital transformation, as you can see here, including GIS, and digital cultural heritage, smart cities, digital government, human capital, smart industry, and renewable energy. So regarding the GIS, maybe some of you may not know about GIS. Just briefly, I would say. So GIS is an information system that converts like geographic information necessary for human life and into computer data and uses it efficiently. So the core function of GIS is to help us broaden decision making by identifying, analyzing, and expressing all the spatial information that exists in the space in which human life using computers and networks. And then, how about the digital twin technology? So, digital twins are digital or virtual representation of the physical objects or processes. The digital twin enables simulation, prediction, monitoring, and analysis of the real world in the virtual world. It can assist in solving social problems in many fields by transforming very spatial information into visualized data. I'm sure also digital twin can be applied our cultural heritage and tourism field. In most cases, tourism fields, I'm sure we need more visual data, and then we need to visualize our cultural heritage to promote. And here also advantages of digital twin. Here you can see real-time virtual monitoring use real-time data, and then you can see here simple management of objects using virtual digital twins connected to reality. And then optimization, prediction, and prevention of processes by simulation using real-time data. Here we can also see the contribution of the GIS and digital twin technologies to the cultural heritage and tourism field. So here I can count 7 main contributions. The first is documentation and inventory. So GIS allows for the creation of detailed inventories and database of cultural heritage assets. It can capture and store spatial data such as the location, condition, and characteristics of heritage sites, building, and artifacts. This information helps in cataloging and managing cultural assets more effectively. And then the second one is the spatial analysis. So spatial analysis through GIS enables spatial analysis of cultural heritage data. It can overlay different layers of information such as archaeological findings, historical maps, and environmental factors to identify patterns, relationship, and potential threats to cultural heritage sites. So the third one we can see here, conservation planning. GIS and digital twin technologies facilitate conservation planning and decision-making processes. So through enabling simulation, different scenarios, assess the impact of environment and development conservation strategies. By visualizing the outcomes and virtual environment, stakeholders can better understand the implication before implementing physical change. And then one of the main is risk assessment and disaster management. As we know, currently there are so many threats for cultural heritage. Some of them happen currently. For example, I can bring the earthquake, devastating earthquake in Turkey. Some of the cultural heritage was damaged by natural disasters. So GIS helps in assessing and managing risks to cultural heritage sites by integrating data on natural hazard, climate change, and infrastructure development. It becomes possible to identify areas prone to potential threats. And number 5 is public engagement, and this helps us by offering immersive and interactive experience for public engagement and education by creating virtual replicas of heritage sites and artifacts. People can explore and learn about cultural heritage remotely. So this promotes wider access, preservation of fragile sites, and enhance visitor experiences. So number 6, I can say monitoring and maintenance. So monitoring, GIS and digital twins assist in monitoring the condition and maintenance need of cultural heritage assets. Sensors networks and remote sensing data and the real-time monitoring systems can be integrated with GIS platforms to track any types of changes, detect deterioration, and ensure timely interventions to preserve the integrity of heritage sites. And then number 7 is tourism and cultural promotion. So GIS can support tourism management and cultural promotion initiatives by mapping cultural heritage assets, creating thematic routes, and providing geolocated information. So GIS enables tourists to explore and appreciate heritage sites more effectively. It also assists in managing visitor flows and developing sustainable tourism practices. At all, I would like to say GIS and digital twin technologies provide powerful tools for cultural heritage management and tourism. So they enable the documentation, analysis, conservation planning, risk assessment, public engagement, monitoring, and promotion of cultural heritage assets, contributing to their preservation, understanding, and sustainable use. So this was briefly, like how to say, theoretical part of my presentation, and then I would like to draw your attention to the case project which was implemented in the form of consortium by our company. So the first project is Bukhara, Uzbekistan, so digital twin-based cultural heritage platform. So you can see here we implemented the project in 2021 in the mausoleum of Ismail Samani. The Ismail Samani is the oldest Islamic building in Central Asia with the early Islamic architectural style. So the content of the project was the environment and status analysis, establishing a target model for our platform, and then cultural heritage data collection and processing, establishment of cultural heritage management pilot platform service, and on-site application of digital twin-based cultural heritage management platform. So this was the target system configuration of our platform, because as I mentioned, digital twin and GIS technologies can be used in all levels of life, and they can be help engage all actors or beneficiaries of the country. So we can see here target area is Ismail Samani Mausoleum. And then here's the basic system configuration, and then we can see here Ministry of Tourism of Sports, which is currently changed the name, but and then we can see here Ministry of Public Education, and then portal services, portal service for foreigners. So this platform enables interaction with government, travelers, and citizens. Here are some of the site view. So we use the drone surveying and ground leader. So in a combination of those two technologies, we could get more precise data. So around our touristic destination. So here are some examples of drone capturing data. It is still raw data. It's not yet reprocessed data. Just raw data almost looks the same. And then here you can see the drone image utilization. After getting the drone and LiDAR data, we utilize through reprocessing the data, and then we can catch all the image of the cultural heritage for indoor and outdoor in a millimeter range. But of course, we can also match the meters range, we can have a centimeters range. It's up to how much budget and then how much time we have. We can match the demand of required organization. And here are some examples of service data construction, because getting the raw data allows us to keep the cultural heritage safe. In case it's damaged, we can provide the information, like detailed information for its recovery. But by the way, the raw data also allows us to make some cultural content, because the raw data itself is very high capacity, so we can reprocess it and then make some cultural content regarding the cultural heritage. So here are some examples which we still, this is on reprocessing stage. And then system itself. So system itself, here you can see our model system. This is called 3D Cultural Heritage Platform. This was for model for Bukhara city. Here you can see the main screen and then some other page of system. I will talk about it here in detail. Here you can see the system screen for monitoring page. We have CCTV connected here, and then we have here more detailed information about the cultural asset. And then this 3D cultural heritage system provides cultural heritage search, location information search, and display some functions. This is one of the main pages. If we go into detail in this platform, here we can see it has a management information editing functions as well. So you know nowadays they have so many cultural heritage, and then all of them has at least maybe 20 packets of the documents. So the issue is most of them are in a paper base. So one of the points was also make them more how to say convenient, to create more convenient environment to deal with, to manage cultural heritage. So here you can see cultural heritage registration screen. So you can enter all necessary information. And then we have here evaluation screen. So we reflected United Nations UNESCO some criteria of for world cultural heritage.
Big Zot, can you skip to the conclusion? We need some time.
Yeah. So here actually so many information I wanted to share. Just I'll show you the one last point.
Все, ishlayapti internet ulandi. Gapiravering. Big Zot.
Because the people should render. So in this regard, we carried out another second project, which called low capacity cloud-based 3D cultural property, spatial information technology development project. So in this project, we focused mainly how to make the same high quality but low capacity data. Our site was observatory of the so we carried the project. I have a short time. I just came to conclusion. So here you can see comparison between point cloud, OBJ mesh, and 3D mesh optimizing for web service. So actually 3D data, which was supposed to be 395 megabytes, it's become only 30.5 after our processing, but still having the same, almost the same quality. This enables widespread use of the data, especially when citizens need to see some visualized data through the web service. So in this regard, here you can see the results. This was the field photos, and then this is modeling results. So we could manage to shorten the data capacity, become much lightweight. So in this regard, as a shortage of time, I would like to talk more and then explain more in detail, as a shortage time doesn't allow me. So I'm going to conclude here by saying that using and applying digital technologies into cultural heritage now became the most important thing in our life, because it has not only visual impact, it has also economic impact, because we know that we pay salaries or the money budget for maintenance, but these technologies may allow us make the maintenance more effective.
Bekzod ovozi uzilib qoldi, oxirgi gaplaringiz eshitilmayapti. Qayta tiklandi. Bekzod, nimagadir oxirgi nima eshitilmayapti gapingiz? Mana bo'ldi, tiklandi Bekzod. Oxirgi gaplaringiz eshitilmay qoldi. Takrorlab bersangiz Bekzod, oxirgi gaplaringiz.
Oxirgi gaplarimi?
Eshitilmay qoldi orada, bitta o'zingiz yakunlasangiz.
So in concluding, I would like to thank you, and our company is almost always ready to cooperate, and then we are very thirsty for new ideas, and then maybe here is the most famous experts are in this field, and then maybe you have any ideas to cooperating and then applying our technology, maybe for developing your own ideas. So we are always open for any offers. Yeah, thank you, and then enjoy your stay in Namangam. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your very precious information. Try to understand, this is kind of introduction of our experts to our team. So, knowing about the EGIS, later on we will have more in-depth working groups on the Axsikent and as well as the Farg'ona Valley projects. And here, our audience already know about your company, and we have in your persona a very focal point. Whenever we want, we can consult you so that we can attract EGIS to Uzbekistan and Farg'ona Valley projects. Thank you so much, Bekzod, for your precious time. Hurmatli do'stlar, konferensiyamiz ishtirokchilari, endi 1,5 soatlik tanaffus e'lon qilamiz, lekin aytib o'tganimdek, hali juda bir qiziqarli taqdimotlar oldinda va mehmonlarimizni endi tamaddi nima qilishga taklif etamiz. Dear guests, now we have a 1.5 hour break, lunch break. Then we will continue with further interesting presentations. Thank you very much. Katta rahmat sizlarga.
I don't know.